Hey everybody, game is loading again. It doesn't matter how much time I give it, it always seems to be loading when I start these streams. Apologies for the little kerfuffle at the beginning there. I don't know what happened. For some reason YouTube didn't use the settings I gave it. It just used the blank default stream, and I didn't notice until a bit too late. So apologies for that. Live stream indeed. Hey Spartan. Yeah, no, I won't be starting the timer again. I thought that would be too cruel. Plus, it would mean that I'd be quite late. Yeah, I need to maybe hop into Discord. I close Discord when I play this game just because it seems to eat your frames when you're actually live streaming. I can record it without any issue with Discord in the background, but when I have Discord open, not so good. Yeah, let me just see. Bum, 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 bum. So the correct link is in Discord now, I think. Should be. Let me see. Yep, it's the right one. Alright, I can close that down. Sorry about that. Anyway, we're back. Satisfactory. Building. Boom. Big shell. Continuing the build. So every Monday, streaming Satisfactory at this time, 3 p.m. UK time. And basically doing the in-between stuff between videos. If you haven't seen the latest video, I think it was episode number 58, I want to say. And let's just get the actual game screen properly on. Alright, good. So today, two things that I want to get doing is finishing one of the pillars. I thought it'd be good to do one on stream in case people wanted to know how they were made. So I'll be going to be doing that pillar over there. As you can see, I've thickened up all the other pillars. There's a little bit left at the top of them that hasn't been done yet because I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to connect it to the hex, as it were. In the video game, Metal Gear Solid 2, there's sort of like a mini hex underneath. So it might look a bit better. Otherwise, it just looks like this, where it just goes straight in. So that was my kind of test pillar, and these are the ones I blueprinted out. So we're just going to blueprint out another one. Get that done, and then we're going to start work on the core, which is the big square kind of building in the center. And I've kind of mapped out where the train's going to come in and stuff, so I've got a broad idea of what we're going to get. Yeah, they got chunky indeed. We'll be building one on the stream so we can actually see it happening as well. It was pretty fun figuring out how to do it, and if anything, they're too thick now, but I guess that's a good problem to have. Alright, I'm just getting my desk in order here. A little late today. It is stiflingly hot, and I had air conditioning on. It was super loud, keeping the room cool before the stream, but already, it's getting hot already. Alright, so, in order to get started, what I'm going to need to do is just grab some materials, and then we'll go straight over and start building out the final pillar here. And then after that, we'll start building out the core. So that's going to be it. Hey, Jerry. So, for this, all I need to do, I need to get some power stuff. Just so I can drag power lines with me. I'm going to need some conch. And in fact, I've actually got the blueprints listed, which ones I need and which I don't. Oh no, I don't. It's gone. I think there's 24 sides to these pillars, so I need 24 of the pillar bottom. 24, and then for a pillar wall section I'll need 24, but whatever that is times 3. 72. Alright, and this will tell me all the materials I need. So I need iron plates, a bunch of iron plates. I have a train that delivers iron plates into me on the regular. Do we have everything else? It looks like we do. Oh, actually I have one other thing that needs to be added to the blueprints, which is the concrete support section. Need about 6 of those. Alright, so iron rods and iron plates. So just take all these. That's more than we need. About 5,000 should be good. Yep. And then iron rods. Alrighty. Let's just take some steel as well. Again, way more than I need. Alright, City Skyline stream was good. You keep calling it a stream. It's just a video. This is a stream. Stream is live. It becomes a video afterwards, I guess. But yeah, on City Skylines I didn't stream it, I just did a video. But thank you, thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, they patched the game today, and it broke my save. But they say they have a fix coming later, which should fix it. So, I couldn't record I wanted to record another one today before streaming this game, so I could have a video go out like later on tonight. maybe I'll still be able to do that, but yeah, really unfortunate that they broke everyone's saves. And it seems to be a fundamental issue for a lot of people. It's not just like because of my mods or anything. Some people are saying that they don't even have mods and it's breaking their saves, so that was unfortunate. How do you decide on how much to produce of one item? I just kind of wing it. I know that's like really not a sufficient answer for a lot of people, but when I look at something, I basically just... I kind of look at it this way. When I was building the crystal oscillator factory, for instance, I was like, okay, I don't know how much crystal oscillators I'm going to need, but I can comfortably make about 20 without too much difficulty, so I'm going to triple that number. And that gives me a kind of a general idea that, like, if you're like, oh, you know, I only need one node here and one node here and maybe one other thing, and I can make about 20 per minute, oh, that's great. But wouldn't it be, you should challenge yourself, right? So it's like, oh, I'm going to triple that, because that's going to make it more difficult. You could go even higher than that, I suppose, and I guess at the end of the day, you're not wasting anything if you throw them into the awesome sink, or you'll probably need them eventually. And it's funny, the 60 oscillators I made, it's not enough. I actually need 80 for this build, so technically I needed to go even higher. But that's what I've been doing, generally speaking, is picking a number out of the thin air that seems doable, and then just kind of like making it so that it seems more challenging. Initially with the heavy modular frame build, I think I was aiming for 10. So then I doubled it to... I actually increased it way more than that, but then I realized I could make fused frames. So I'm left with about 20-something heavy modular frames at the end of it. So yeah, not a great answer, but I'll tell you what, once I'm finished the game, and I know what you need for everything, then you could kind of work backwards, because you know the progression then. And you could go, well, I know that I'll need it roughly this much. So I plan on doing that whenever I finish the actual game. I'd almost like to start a new run and do what I would call like a minimum build. It's like, what is the minimum you need to get through the game to achieve, let's say at the very end, I don't know, 10 space elevator parts per minute for the final milestone, something like that. If it was 10 per minute, it still is like 1,000 that you need, so it's still, you'd have to leave things idle for a while to actually get it done, but that'd be kind of an interesting thing. It's like, what is the minimum that you need to do this? Anyway, I think most of us just kind of wing it like I do. Yeah, I mean, the game is designed in mind where you don't know what's coming up in the next milestones, right? Like, you don't know. So, unless you go out to the wiki or something like that, and you really start... I genuinely don't know what's over here. Like, I really don't. I've been on Satisfactory Calculator and the interactive map, and I may have spotted resources now and then, but it's not like I've turned them on and studied, and I know where I'm going to go, and I know what I'm going to get, and I know what's in Tier 8. I don't know any of that stuff. And it's fun that way. To me, that's fun, because if you know everything going into it, you might be more efficient, sure. But there's something nice about building one way and then having to go like, okay, now I'm going to do this, and this one's going to be better, and this is going to be adjusted and be improved. I'm doing City Skylines at the moment, and the way they gate the progression is you can't get certain buildings until you reach different milestones. And you almost are forced to build a city that you'll inevitably have to redo, and that allows you to kind of problem solve problems that you create for yourself. And I think they're aware of that in this game. That's kind of why they don't tell you what you're going to need until you reach the next milestones. Anyway, I digress. So what we're going to be doing, if anyone's just joined in, we're going to be thickening up this pillar. Now, unfortunately, we have to actually remove the pillar, which could take a little while, so that's what I'm just going to be working on, while you guys can chat to me. I'll be just deconstructing this. So the best way to do this, I've been doing this with the other ones, is just to fly up high, and then just lower myself down as I'm removing it. But I'll also need to put down a storage container, just to clear up my inventory a bit. Game seems kind of quiet to me. Is it quiet for you guys? I understand. Thanks. No problem. I mean, if people are limited on time, I can understand. I have no problem with, obviously, the idea that people want to go outside the game, look at what you need, and be efficient. Because who wants to waste anyone's time, right? But if you just look at it holistically as you'll enjoy the time building, even if you're not going to be 100% efficient, if you can... Some people can't do that, but if you can do that, then no time is wasted. You're just having fun. It's a video game. I have to remove these sections one by one, unfortunately, and then we can put down the thicker pillar. Yeah, it's quiet. No music, you can't hear? Probably coming up a bit louder now, but I'll just raise it just a little bit anyway. As a viewer, I wish you build your city skylines using more public transport. I haven't unlocked any public transport yet. I'm playing through the game. I haven't even unlocked buses. What do you mean? I'm playing through the progression. I can't do that yet. Obviously, we'll have public transport everywhere. And, you know, we've got a big landfill near some houses, but we're going to have a recycling center. I just haven't unlocked it yet. Gotta unlock it first. But it'll come. That's why I'm doing like a traditional playthrough, not like you know, a lot of people on YouTube do really cool, to be fair, but like big city builds. They have basically creative mode, right? They have everything unlocked, and they sort of just build whatever they want based on some design. But I'm actually playing the game, going through the milestones and stuff like that, you know? Noob. Yes, I'm a noob for not having unlocked it yet in 40 minutes of playtime. Anyway, finally got in. YouTube had me stuck in the stream starting soon screen for the last 10 minutes. Yeah, there's some issue. I think a few people might be stuck that way, where the wrong stream went live first. So I'm just being careful not to chop away anything of the floor up above, but we'll be a bit quicker as we get lower down here. How high can I go? This is as high as I can go. Alright, we can just do this now. Should be easier to get rid of things as we look down on the ground. When you unlock the buses, it's going to help you so much with traffic. No, I know, yeah. Yeah. I have played the game before. I just haven't used all the DLCs before. And I never played it like that well. I always built just big grids. I'm trying not to build a grid in this build. Trying to be a bit better at the game. The main reason I never did it on YouTube is because there's so many good builders out there that make like realistic cities, and I'm just like, oh, there's no way I can do that. Whenever I play it, I don't even drive in real life, so it's a bit of a nightmare for me trying to understand and figure out traffic. I vaguely get it. But that's what the playthrough's for. I'll get better at it and people will give me advice and stuff, so. But yeah, unfortunately, today they put out a patch to celebrate City Skylines 2, some like little event thing. And it's broken a lot of people's saves, including mine. So I kind of didn't expect any saves, excuse me, to break since the last DLC, because I thought like, oh, it's their kind of final update, final DLC for a long time. That will be a major gameplay changing one, and then here they are the next day basically breaking people's saves. And it's not to do with mods either. Apparently some people without mods are experiencing the same issue. You'll just have to bear with me while I'm getting rid of this. Yeah, exactly. Once we get update 8's blueprint destruction feature, you don't have to do this anymore. You can just destroy the blueprint. You could have went on to Satisfactory calculator just to remove it, but that's also even a kind of a pain in the ass, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. And once we get down here, we'll build a brand new blueprint. And it'll be a bit better anyway, because it'll be during the day. Alright, we're about halfway done. We'll try to go a little quicker now, so I'll just remove the face sides. That's weird. I'm holding C. Oh, if you hold C and control, you can't go lower. That's weird. Yeah, I can. Cities 2? Yep, that's just what we were talking about. Looking forward to it. Looks great. Some people were like, have you seen the trailer? I included a part of the trailer in my first video. In my Let's Play yesterday. But yeah, no, I was watching the conference yesterday. I think Xbox had a really good showing. As much as it pains me to say. But yeah, no, there's a good few things I was quite interested in. And then what was after that? Oh, there's the Summer Games Fest Keighley show in between, which is okay. And then the PC Gamer show, which I thought was pretty not interesting. Anyway, are you going to bother making stairs again? Yes, I'll show you these. I'll show you the blueprint just once I get rid of this. So if you can see around here, all of these have the thicker pillars. That's what we're going to be building. I've already blueprinted it, and you'll see what it looks like when I just finally clear this area. Fortunately, our dismantle limit is 50, so I can only get rid of so much at a time. And I've used a lot of these like single chunk walls, so it's just taking a little while. But it has to be done. I probably should have just cleared it before I streamed. I've only got so much time in a day. Did you ever play Planet Coaster? Yeah, I love Planet Coaster. Really good. And Planet Zoo. Like both of them. I think they're quite good, but I think they kind of, at least for me, don't deal enough with the management aspect. They're a bit too much on the creative side. I think it's great having all that creative control, but I felt like they didn't really have much management control. It's very easy to make money, and there's not much of a struggle in the game, and that's cool, but it just felt like a big sandbox. And I kind of want like more of a campaign, or at least a, you know, like running an actual business and getting people in and running events and running discounts and stuff like that. And it just felt like you didn't really have to do that. It's more just like, hey, design a cool roller coaster and just have fun with it, and you kind of just build up money in the background. Planet Zoo took things a little bit more in depth, which I liked. You had to manage your staff a bit more, and shifts and cleaning different enclosures differently, and people had their expertise to do these things. Again, though, super easy game. I just don't think it's the focus, and I don't think a lot of people who play it want that stuff anyway. I feel like I'm in the minority. Alright, almost done. I haven't seen much of anything about City Skies. Oh, really? So yeah, yesterday they put out a gameplay trailer. Why do they call it hypertubes when vacuum elevators are a real thing? Don't know. I don't know. Well, it doesn't take you straight up. It can take you sideways. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But yeah, City Skylines 2, if you haven't seen it, there was a trailer yesterday, and there was like a little leak a few days ago just showing some screenshots. But it looks good. I mean, it looks just like City Skylines 1. But with better graphics, and it seems like maybe tighter, more in-depth control on road networks and stuff. Like, it seems like they've incorporated a few of the top mods, basically. So it's a good story. I was really kind of worried, you know. It's tough for these types of games to live up to their 10-year life cycle kind of thing. You know, City Skylines has been out for, what, 8 years, I think? 7 to 8 years? And it can be tough for these games to compete with themselves a lot of the time. Alright, can we just change this now? Is that it? Did I leave anything behind? I think we're good. So that's the pillar decommissioned. Alright, so this pillar is going to be basically twice as thick. Can I stand on this? I feel like I actually can't. Oh, I can. Cool. This one's going to be twice as big. We'll start building it now in just one sec. Hey, Jared Dreek, everything is good. Everything's great. Do you like the pirate games? I was just taking a drink of water. I'm not sure which games you're referring to. Sid Meier's Pirates. I've actually never played it, so. Or if you just mean pirate games in general, I've never played Sea of Thieves. I like grounded and realistic games, so if you gave me a pirate game and it was like realistic, I'd be all about that. I'll play anything if it's realistic. You know, I'll sweep a floor if it's in 8K and I can't tell the difference between real life and what I'm playing. Alright, so we're just thickening out the layers by 2. I want it to be an 8x8. I think that's it. So this is the area we're going to be working with. I'll need to move this. It's kind of in the way. So we picked up all this material. Just stick this right on the edge here. Let me just see you pick up everything I can here. I'm going to need concrete more than anything, I think, for this bit. Alrighty, cool. We're almost ready to get going. Are you excited for Janitor Simulator? I'd play it. I would play it. How's YouTube streaming going? Is it attracting more subscribers? Honestly, I don't know. I just do it because it's fun. I mean, I know that sounds like, oh yeah, sure. But I really am a terrible YouTuber. I just don't look at my analytics. I couldn't care, you know? I like streaming, and I would be doing this whether I was streaming or not for this series. So that's why I'm streaming Satisfactory. I don't stream anything else at the moment, just because I don't have the time. I'm really busy with the Let's Plays. Which sounds funny, but I put a lot of time between... Like, for instance, I always mention this. This save has 412 hours in it. That's not even an accurate counter, though, because my Satisfactory playthrough, I think, has something like 700 overall. And that's because, you know, I built 5 of these off stream, and now I'm doing one. You can see how long it takes. And that's just so that when I get to the next video where, you know, things look cool and I can explain through what I've done and just move on and get to the next thing. So I decided, hey, why not stream like the in-between bits every now and then, ask for ideas, suggestions, and help. And that's basically what I've done with Satisfactory, and so far it seems to be going well. I can't even see the view count. I see it afterwards. So I couldn't even tell you. As long as people are here chatting and stuff like that, it's worth it to me. But I'd be doing it anyway, so it's really no skin off my nose. Right, so this is how we're going to build out, if anyone's curious, these big circles. So I'm on a 8x8 foundation, right? So this is 8x8 on the ground. And then I'm building a central sort of plus sign, if you want to call it that, right? So we start on the center, not aligned with the actual grid, but in the center of it. And then we go out 3 in every direction. And then we just keep doing that. So the way we do that then is we hold control 1, 2, 3 on the scroll wheel. And then we go forward 3, back 3, and to the sides 3 each time. Then we have to get rid of this, and we just have to repeat that process. So 1, 2, 3, and then we just keep going out. This is how we get a nice big circular pillar. A darn live stream on YouTube, are my eyes deceiving me? Well, this is the, what, 10th one I've done? But the live streams on YouTube are really just continuations of my Let's Play series. That's the idea. They just sit there as videos for anyone who's interested afterwards. And stay there. Certainly, I couldn't really compare it to Twitch too much. I think the view count's a bit higher, but I don't think it really matters to me. But the thing that does matter to me is that they stay up as videos permanently, and if they're just sort of continuations of the series that I do. So that means that people who want to see a little bit more of a given series, more in detail, can check these out. And people who don't have to. They can just watch the regular series. Alright, there we go. That's our circle complete. Fortunately, I don't think I can get rid of these things coming through the ground, so they're just going to have to deal with it. Skin off the nose. I always thought it was no skin off my back. Let's find out if I made that one up. When I typed skin off the first autocorrect was nose. Used when you want to say that it makes no difference to you, or what someone else does or thinks. It's no skin off my nose if you don't take my advice. And that's the Cambridge University Press and Assessment. There you go. Always makes my day when I catch your streams, whether it's Twitch or YouTube. Please stream whenever you want, even for watching game trailers. No, see, that's the stuff that I'm not doing anymore, so my opinionated content is over. You know, during streams, I'm an opinionated guy. So if people ask me certain things, sometimes I'll bite and talk about things, but generally speaking, my streams are now just to play and enjoy the games that I'm doing series on. I'm happy with that. I mean, I like giving my opinions and stuff, but to be perfectly honest, it seems to turn off a lot of people with my bad takes. And, you know, I'd rather just do the thing that I do well, which is, I guess, Let's Plays, builder games, and kind of immersive games as well, like Project Zomboid, Stellaris, those kind of things. And then just have kind of continuations of those in live stream format sometimes to get audience input. I like streaming because I like interacting with people. I'm a very insular person, so it's nice to chat with people. Because I don't know anyone else that likes games. So you guys are great for that. All right, so we are lined up, as I usually say. So what we need to do now is build the central core pillar, or at least build the outer pillars first. Should we do the outer pillars first? Yeah, let's do the outer pillars first. It's easier. All right. So I've got a blueprint for this. Pillar bottom is where we'll start. We have to just look at the edge. And it's a little tricky just for the very first ones. So just what that looks like, it is just a black wall at the bottom, a white wall in the middle, and then up from there we'll do orange. So that's how we end up with that kind of look. So very simple. Basic wall, then the basic wall 1 meter, basic wall again, so that's just black. And then we have the same thing but white, but a little smaller. And then we just do this and wrap it around, effectively. Just bring this around with me. Good morning. Morning gaming trucker. You should live stream the new update launch day. Maybe. I feel like I'd rather just do a video. What is it? What day is it again? I have so many dates in my mind right now because of all these new release dates that have just come out, and also I was just thinking about I have to go away again. Not for a long while actually, not till September, but I just have all these other dates in my mind at the moment. And then on Wednesday, I'm going somewhere this Wednesday. Actually, yeah. What? Oh, please don't tell me it's this Wednesday, is it? I'm gonna have to look it up because I need to know. If it's this Wednesday, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. Rosie, for my 30th birthday back in September, got me tickets to go see Hans Zimmer live on Wednesday. And we had a bit of a thing about it because I asked her not to get me anything. And I'm ultimately just gonna sound like an asshole here, but I kind of just didn't want to go. Well, I'm gonna go anyway. And now if it comes out also on a day where it's like I just want to do my job for a bit and, you know, play something like an update for Satisfactory and get a video out, if that's happening on the same day. Tomorrow? Tomorrow's Tuesday. Someone else said Thursday. Okay, if it's tomorrow, then we're totally fine. Will I play City Skylines later? No, not on live stream. My save is broken. They patched the game and they broke saves, so I'm waiting on that. They said that they're going to fix it today. So I'm literally 1 day into the Let's Play and they've screwed me. Lightly. So I couldn't play it if I wanted to. I tried playing it this morning to have the next video ready, but oh no! I made a mistake. It's misaligned. Looks correct. Oh Lord. Hans Zimmer's awesome? Yeah, I'm sure it will be awesome. I'm just being a stick in the mud, I guess. And I love it. It's like, I don't really listen to music, but Hans Zimmer would be like my favorite musician, I guess. By a long shot. So, she didn't do anything wrong. Except for disobey me when I said I just didn't want anything. And I truly didn't want anything. Anyway. Thought that counts, I guess. Alright, let's go up. Darren, I randomly found your channel like 5 months ago and binged your Satisfactory series in like 2 months. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Magnus. Discovered your channel through City Skyline content. Yeah, so that was just yesterday. But yeah, welcome. So basically at the moment I'm playing City Skylines. Well, I'm playing Satisfactory, Anno 1800, and City Skylines. I'll try to have lots of City Skylines videos, but just like I said, very unfortunately, they have corrupted saves with an update to celebrate City Skylines 2. And they actually initially said, their community manager said, like, no, it's just mod conflicts, like, just wait for mods to update. And then they posted an hour later saying, like, oh, wait, no, we have actually broken something. Oh, I actually can't fit over this. I've kind of blocked myself in here for a sec. I have to stay tethered to the wires. Anyway, I think they said 5 of music. What music are you playing right now? This music is Metal Gear Solid 2's soundtrack. This particular song is a little strange. This is Fortune, the one of the boss fights that you do in the game. Her name is Fortune, and this is like her theme. It's quite different to all the other songs in the game. I kind of forgot that it was included in this bit, but it's fine. Very jazzy. And the reason I'm playing Metal Gear Solid 2 music is because, of course, if you hadn't recognized it already, or if you don't know Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm building Big Shell from Metal Gear Solid 2, so... This is going to be a factory that's making supercomputers, 40 supercomputers per minute, and one of the complaints aesthetically I was getting was that the pillars I had were too thin underneath the struts. And they were. Now they are much more thick. I'm going to fall down to the ground here before the autosave kicks in case something goes wrong. Sexy saxophone. I started watching on your on your first video of the Let's Play series of Satisfactory. Nice. Yeah, that was almost a year ago, I think now. I have a Discord server. Yep, discord.gg/WDP. Tomorrow the 13th of June. Excellent. So, yeah, that's awesome. I didn't realize it was actually that early. So tomorrow, Experimental is available then for Satisfactory, which will upgrade it to Unreal Engine 5. New lighting, host of new options, hopefully some new optimizations, right? And then blueprint deleting, blueprint nudging. So if you're placing a blueprint, you don't have to be too worried about where it goes because you can kind of finely tune it. New power features, new game features if you wanted to play creative mode and stuff like that. It's a really big update. Lots of small things, but I think overall it's going to be really good. I think it'll probably be quite unstable, though. My guess is, initially. Alright, I need more, we're almost at the top. 2 more layers to go. Alright, do you guys watch the NBA finals? I don't watch any sports, me personally. Also, I live in England. I feel like, probably dominated by... It's like an American dominant sport, I suppose. Do you have a pattern or anything? Ask Alphabet. Well, there's a pattern in here. If you want to see the other ones, the pattern is basically just black on the bottom, white, and then just orange. But then I also break it up with some thicker wall kind of indentations. That's basically the pattern. This kills your frame rate doing loads of them at the same time. Alright, one more layer to go. And then we can begin work on the core. Pack utility mod may be obsolete tomorrow. Won't be obsolete for me, because I want to play the regular mode. But just every now and then opt into like the only reason I use pack utility is so I can get cinematics. I don't want it as a permanent flying option, you know? So for me it won't be, but maybe for some people it will be. I'm in a different situation now, I guess, being a creator or whatever. Because I just want to be able to like film cool cinematics, and I need to be able to fly to do that. And when I'm testing things, it's nice to be able to do creative mode. Which you could make a parallel save, I guess, if you want to do that now with the AGS system. Alright, that's it. That's as high as it's going to go until I sort out how I'm going to do the top bit. So, I'm going to get rid of this. Actually, we can keep that there. I can fly up using it when I'm doing the insides. So we have to just build the central core pillar and the staircase that takes me up. Now, I need to see... I think this is where we're facing. Alright. Alright, so now I've got a nice 2x2 aligned with what's up there, I think. Okay, so for the final blueprints, we have the concrete support section. And you know it's lined up because we get this lovely... Boom, there it is. Looks good, right? Alright, we just stack this on top of each other over and over again. No hypertubes on this one, but I can always add some in if I want. Could even blueprint them in if I wanted to, but... I actually don't think I'll be traveling up and down the pillars that much. I'll be traveling into the core, mostly. Alright, there we go. If you... yeah, unfortunately there's no uptime command. But I could tell you, 35 minutes. I love watching blueprints. Yeah, it's cool. Alright, good. We are lined up. Now just connect these bad boys. Okay. That doesn't really matter for now, but they'll probably have like a stairs there or something. What I actually did with one of the further out ones was I connected it via a walkway, but I think that looks really weird. In the game, they are actually connected. Well, not necessarily. I'll show you. There are these like floating platform things that go out to the kind of oil repositories where there's also a pipeline that then feeds into them. So I want a pipeline that looks like that will go into the core, because all my stuff is going to be fed up to the core. One of the core pillars. Spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 2, by the way. But I've been using this as a reference to see like kind of what I'm building. Yeah, it's just interesting to see like what they've done. Oh my god. Right. So, how are you going to bring in the train lines? Yeah, I could show that next. I haven't fully decided, you know. But I know the height that they need to be at. Can I get my inventory back now? Yeah, it looks like we've got plenty of room. There we go. So I'm just going to remove this wire, and then once I do that, we're going to go back and we'll start looking at the cores. So the train line is this height. That's the height of the train line. Train height. So I was thinking maybe a little sub-building that comes off of the core in the middle. So in the very center of the actual core building, we could have like a little train station underneath it that feeds up its materials. But maybe something like that. Might look a bit strange. The core itself is going to have 4 of these pillars. So it's going to be thick. And that's just the way it even was in the game or whatever. There's the same thickness of pillars, as far as I can tell, are in that core. I just want to see if I can find it real quick. It's not easy to see here, but you can kind of see, like, the pillars are the same. You know, these pillars are the same as these. I just wonder if my core is too small or something, because it feels like these are going to be really... It'll look really squat, I think, having them, but maybe not. It's 42 by 42. It could come out further. I've got no issue with that. But we have to decide that now, really. It would mean chopping away some bits of the edges of the bridges. Well, you know, that's fine. I kept having issues where I didn't... Oops, wrong button. Anyway, you can always put your cursor as if you wanted to rewind to the beginning of the stream. That would tell you the uptime. Yeah, that's true, actually. Actually, I think you can click the timestamp and it'll flip. It'll invert to show you when the time began. Something like that. I know in a regular video, if you click the timestamp, it actually, like, to click the time on the bottom left, it tells you how much is left in the video, as opposed to how much has gone by. Alright, let's get some distance and have a look. How long have you had this world? This says 400 hours. so far. That's all 6 pillars done now. Well, not totally done. I need to just do that top bit on each one of them, but I'll figure that out myself. So if you were not here last week, so basically I started this build maybe 3 weeks ago, and you know, I play other games. I play Anno, and I've been doing City Skylines, so it's not like I've only been doing that every day. But the overall concept in the first video was building out the first hex, and then I accidentally built it as an octagon, and I realized, whoops, I need to get my angles a bit better. So then I got my angles right, made a hexagon, but it made the top of it way bigger than initially planned, which made the pillars look really thin. So now the pillars are looking thick. Last Monday on stream, we built out bridges. So these connection bridges. And each bridge is slightly different because we have this kind of logistics map here of what this place is going to be doing. So Satisfactory, for those who don't know, because some seem to not know much about this game, it's a factory building game where you make products, and those products go into other machines to make other products, and that's how you progress through the game, basically. And I like to build kind of realistic-looking factories, or factories that feel like you could walk around in them. You don't have to do any of this stuff. You could just build it all out in the grass if you wanted to. It's all about the machines at the end of the day and the products that you make. But being organized and building stuff that's cool, part of the fun for me. So this is the overall map of Big Shell. And in the central core, the only thing that's left that isn't built is this, and then the 2 bridges that connect out from the central core. The 2 bridges that feed in from the north and south, they're done, actually. So it's just these ones. This is a complicated bridge. I've decided that I'm probably not going to blueprint it. I'm just going to build it out, and then we can kind of configure and customize it, because it's really complicated. Too complicated for a blueprint. Especially since it'd be unique anyway. It's no real point blueprinting it. So what was I going to say? Let me just have a read of chat really quickly. Will you play Warhammer? Which Warhammer game? There's like a million Warhammer games. I kept having issues where I wouldn't have enough inventory space. So I used Satisfactory Calculator to give myself 200 slots, and then I had no problems with it. Oh, that's interesting. I don't know how many slots I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of 72. Guess it's not that much. I never really had an issue with it, but obviously more is better. It would be cool if you could craft like a backpack and put on your back or something. I don't know. Have some more space. You do get more space through the MUM, but I agree. They could probably do it giving you more. You could play the game like Let's Game It Out does. Oh yeah. Let's not do that. Good morning, Brandon. I found your channel when you started your current Let's Play in Anno. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Some of those core supports are had horizontal connections near the ground. Seems like a natural place for your train station. Some of those core support. Yes. Yes, if we just have a look at the core one more time. See if I can find a decent picture of it here. It's hard to actually find, which is why I was looking at the full playthrough of the game. Like you can see there is these things that go across. The core is really thick. It seems to be twice as thick as the regular shell. Yeah, and then it has these, it has these pillars, these metal poles that kind of extend down onto the pillars as support. But I have the height right. I've already mapped that out. It's more just, yeah, will it look right having some sort of train station in below it? I don't mind raising the train station. I've done that in a few other places, but ideally it looks kind of weird. And this place was never designed to have a train station. Really, it should have everything delivered by drone. That'd be the right way to do it, all on the rooftops. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but I'm not there yet. But that would be interesting to one day remove the train station and say, like, no, everything gets flown in, because that's the way it's supposed to be, and how it was in the game. Now, I haven't designed out what this is going to be like. Let's fly up to there, or go up there, and check on the height and stuff so I can work out how tall the walls are going to have to be. Now, because of this new strut and pillar system, there's no power lines that carry me up here, so we're going to have to drag power up for the first time again. I'll just clip it through the wall. And this wasn't blueprinted. This is the first one I built by hand, so I never put these on. So, but we can fly up. We don't have to take the stairs. Batteries that would be needed for that amount of drones would be insane. Well, this place doesn't actually... Well, how much material does it need? Well, it can pump up its own oil. Oil is a big thing that it needs itself. I think it's taking in Caterium ore and copper ore in high volume, yeah, so that would be a lot. Probably something like I think it's something like 6,000 Caterium and 6,000 copper that has to come in here. Alright, that should keep power back on up here. In fact, I don't have my Excel sheet open right now. I could open that and check it again. I gotta go, but I'll catch you later. Love your streams and your videos. Thanks very much, Alphabet. Appreciate that. And have a good one. Everything is looking good. Had to restart my Satisfactory. I've made it more neat than the last server. And 35 trains was way too much to deal with. I've got a pretty decent amount of trains, actually, at this point. Maybe 10 so far, but I feel like I'm gonna definitely have a lot more being added. A lot of little vehicles now carrying things around. Right, let me just see this Satisfactory thing. So, the total amount of copper ore... Oh, it's not that much, actually. It's 1,650. And then the total Caterium ore is 2,300. The total crude oil is 2,400. So that's everything that comes in here. Nothing else has to come in here, except for crystal oscillators at some point. We need 80 per minute. I think that maybe with drones it'd be doable, but it seems, yeah, wasteful. That being said, it wouldn't have to travel very far, maybe. You could set it up relatively close to where it gets that copper ore. Anyway. Alright, let's head out to this core. Have you ever heard of an old game called A-Train? No. Some hard drives give you more storage slots. Oh, do they? Interesting. I wonder... Yeah, it'd be nice to go out and start fishing for some new ones. I haven't gotten a hard drive in a long time. I have a lot of... The whole right side of the map hasn't been explored yet for me. Looking good. Alright. We need to work out the height of this thing, because we're going to build the outer walls first. Oh, we could build the floors maybe first. That'd probably make more sense. Ow. There's no power here. Yeah, I reckon actually we'll start with the floors. If that's the case, then I just need to go back, fetch some, like, fill up my inventory with just concrete and steel, because I'm going to be using the blueprint I use for double floors. Which I can't remember where I even put that. Cosmetics double floor. There it is. So we'll just pump out a bunch of these ones. So I need more concrete and steel, and then once one's down, we can just snap them to each other. It should be easy enough. Alright, let's do that. But yeah, I'd really like the next video for this place to be... You know, some of the oil is like in place and we work on the first strut. F will be a good one to start with because it's power. So I need oil to go up into the core and then it gets pumped out to F. F will then basically make just, yeah, a bunch of power. Actually, I can't quite remember. It's like something like 400 or 500 of the crude oil goes straight into it, I think. Oh, I have it written in front of me on a piece of paper. Yeah, so power generation, 560 fuel. There's 45 fuel generators, 6,000 to 7,000 megawatts of power. So nothing huge or crazy, but it's taking in the heavy oil and some of the fall-off oil. So all the oil goes down into A to get made into plastic and heavy oil. And then the leftovers goes into F, excuse me. I heard Metal Gear Solid 2 got a lot of hate because it wasn't Snake you were playing. I really liked it. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sleepy Sneaker. What was your message? It says it was deleted automatically because you wrote hello. Hey, hello. I don't know if you were timed out or not, but if you are, it should be lifted in 10 minutes. I really need to configure the bot. It seems really unfair to people. I think it just says, like, if a message has all caps and it has like 50 caps in it or something like that, it just deletes it. So he wrote hello in all caps. But like elongated it to be a long message. But hello. I really liked it, but I'd love to see a remake of all the Metal Gear Solid games, but without Kojima it would suck. Yeah, this is why I'm kind of conflicted on the new remake, because, well, here's the thing. There's two things. I'm excited for Metal Gear Solid 3 Remake, just because it's my favorite one. I think it's a lot of people's favorite game. And I'm hoping it'll be great. They're actually keeping the original voices, which I think is awesome. I heard some podcasters complaining, like, they think it's less value that they're not redoing the VO, but there's no way, they wouldn't be able to get the guys back anyway, and they wouldn't sound the same. So I'd rather David Hayter's voice, like, if you could get David Hayter back, then sure. But, like, his voice is so iconic. I don't want anyone else, I don't want someone else to do it. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. He is so iconically Snake to me that I don't even play Metal Gear Solid 5, to be quite frank. The other thing, though, is, yeah, so it's obviously a Hideo Kojima game, as it tells you a million times over. The weird thing I have with this whole situation with him and Konami is that no one knows why he was, like, kicked out of Konami. Everyone's on his side, and I guess if I had to defer to anyone, it would be to him. I'm pro Kojima. But I do wonder, like, what happened? Like, what happened? He could have done something really wrong, and they don't want to speak out about it. And I've seen that. I worked at a company before, a games company, and someone applied, and during their interview, they were, I just don't even want to say too much, but they said some, like, really bad stuff in their interview, like derogatory things about certain groups of people, and they didn't get hired. Now, a lot of that person then went on to complain about how they didn't get hired on forums, because they were like a known modder. Probably already given away too much about it. Anyway, I was then told, like, oh yeah, they didn't get hired because they were basically using slurs. And I was like, oh, why don't the company just say that so that they don't seem like the bad thing? And it's like, well, the company would never come out and, like, say that about someone. And I'm like, that's interesting. Like, it makes me wonder, what did Hideo Kojima do to have Konami basically relegate him to, like, this corner office and, like, treat him like shit all of a sudden? I don't know. Maybe he did nothing wrong, but it makes me wonder. Because imagine if it did turn out. Imagine just, like, if it turned out, like, oh, he, like, sexually assaulted someone. It's like, oh, that would be a very different story then, wouldn't it? So I just wish we knew, like, what happened. But anyway, I don't know why I always look for the cynicism and the contrarian perspective. But when I hear everyone being like, oh, how could they treat him so bad? It's like, I don't know how they could. Because no one knows why they did. Anyway, so that makes me slightly go like, yeah, I don't know if I want to support, like, a remake or not. I don't know. Anyway, bit of a rant there. So some people have asked me in the past, why do I use double floors? Or, you know, like, it's a 1 meter foundation on top of concrete, and then it's a 1 meter foundation underneath of steel. And the reason for that is, I just prefer being able to have the option to have a different looking roof than I have floor. You could put both as concrete if you want to. But if I'm walking underneath and I look up and I want metal, because that looks cool, and I want to be walking on concrete, you have to do it this way. I've just realized something. What's up with that? That's the logistics floor over there. That's the bridge height. This is okay. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that would be like changing voice actors in a game. Like, wow, a lot of iconic voice actors there. Yeah, totally. They changed the voice actor in Metal Gear Solid 5, and I thought that was so weird. Like, so weird. And apparently, I don't know what happened there. I mean, it's a Japanese company, so English VO isn't their first port of call, I guess. But David Hayter was the voice of Solid Snake. He's a screenwriter. He had other work as well. But he was saying, he's like, I wasn't even informed about it. Like, they just didn't ask me to do this game. I did the 10 other games they've made, and then they just didn't ask me to do this one. So I have no idea what happened there. But that's so weird to me. And they got Kiefer Sutherland. Like, what the hell were they thinking? But anyway. Each to their own. Hey, Marnus. What tire am I? I don't know what that means. And hey, Chris. Alright, we're almost paved. Well, no, we're not. We're not even halfway. You know what would be a great quality of life feature? You know the way you can do this to grab a material? Like, press the middle mouse button? It'd be nice if, now with the new blueprint changes coming in Update 8, it'd be nice if you could do that and pick the blueprint. That'd be pretty good. Because the blueprints are getting kind of wild for the amount of them that you have. Or you can have. Oh, he means tier, of course. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't work that out. Tier 8, I'm building Supercomputer Factory. So we're getting... I can't actually recall what milestones I've got left. Actually, we could check. It tells me up here, doesn't it? User interface, go down to the bottom. Show the current milestone, show the current game phase. There we go. Build... Well, I have to put down a space elevator to even see. I don't think I can right now. I don't have the materials with me. I'm lacking just on some wire. So that didn't help. And I don't have a milestone selected, so... Sorry. But we can check a little later. I'm kind of curious myself. I think I needed supercomputers for whatever the next milestone is, though. That's why I'm making a supercomputer factory. Hey, it's Chris. And it's another Chris. Chris with a C, though. I played Metal Gear Solid 5, but to be honest, at one level with, I think... Hang on. But to be honest, at one level with, I think, like some monsters, I got too scared to play the game. And I also stopped because it got really hard. Metal Gear Solid 5 monsters. You're not thinking of Metal Gear Solid Survive, by any chance? I mean, to be fair, I haven't played it, but I didn't think there'd be monsters in it. I've only played a little bit of it. I liked Ground Zeroes. I just wasn't a... I guess I wasn't a big fan of Metal Gear 5 once the story... Like, the opening, I think, is so cool. You're basically seeing what the equivalent of Big Shell is getting destroyed, and it's... You know... It's awesome. It's just really cool. All cinematic and stuff. And then the game just goes total open world, and it's like, yeah, you can go wherever, do whatever you want. And that's cool. Cool stealth game. But to me, that's not Metal Gear. Metal Gear is all about the story, to me, and the boss fights. Story, boss fights, and stealth, of course. But when you didn't have the voice actor, and you didn't have the, hey, go to this compound, we're going to do this thing, and the story is going to progress... I was like, this isn't really what I want from a Metal Gear game right now, so I just kind of stopped playing it after maybe 10 hours. I just genuinely just phased out of it, out of disinterest. The Phantom Pain has like these weird phantom things. Okay, so I've only played the first 10 hours maybe. I didn't remember seeing any of that. But I didn't give it a fair shake, to be fair. I wouldn't review the game. That was just my initial impression. I liked Ground Zeroes though. I thought the mechanics and everything were really good. I just wish the game was more focused. I really like the turn-based version on the PSP. Yeah, that was cool. Kind of like a little card game. And Peace Walker. Metal Gear, man. So cool. I just love it. Do you guys like Death Stranding? Gotta say, I'm not a massive fan, but people speak so highly of it, I kind of want to go try it again. Probably played about 20 hours of it, and I was just like... I don't know, man. You know, once I've delivered one package, I feel like I've delivered them all. That's a similar type of thing maybe to 5, by the sounds of it, where you're fighting like entities. It'd be nice if they added zooping. Yeah, I know, right? Builds just get so big here towards the end of the game. Nice to see your online acquaintance again. Yes, Chris. Either it was phantoms or it was people on fire. Oh, yeah. Oh, but the thing I did with Metal Gear 5, by the way, was just I just read the story online. 'Cause I wanted to know what was happening. It's interesting. Alright, this is taking so long, but we're almost done. It's still faster than zooping regularly. We're doing 4x4 blocks at a time. I'm almost out of materials, though. It shows you the volume that we're dealing with. Might have to make a run. Maybe we'll do that just to break it up, take the train down and grab more steel. I had no more, by the way. I'm out. Gotta go get more. That's just one floor as well. We need to do 2 more of those. Did you catch this? Yes, yeah. As just to read it out in case people watch the. So you can watch these videos obviously after the streams happen, and there is a live chat option, but a lot of people don't see it because it's kind of buried. But yeah, did I see the Starfield gameplay? I did. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks great. My expectations were low, firmly low. Not that I thought it was going to be bad, but I wasn't trying to get too excited about it. And I would say they pretty much just met and slightly exceeded those expectations. It's like, oh, this looks a little bit better than I even thought it would be, you know? So for me, I'm very happy with what they showed. It sucks that it runs at 30 FPS on console, but I'll be playing on PC anyway. But it does mean that it's probably just not going to be very optimized, which is disappointing. Because I can't think of a reason why not. And I'm someone with a programming background. People are like, oh, Bethesda games track things, and no, they don't. That's not how it works. It's just not optimized well. Like, games only load the physics objects around the player. It's not like it's tracking things on other planets while I'm not there. It might have, you know, it could do what Anno does, for instance. Anno doesn't run all of the sessions simultaneously. It runs it when you swap to it. But it runs it all in the background. Very lightweight, you know, you're basically running a notepad file to keep track of data. It's not that difficult. And these consoles are powerful. So I don't buy this Bethesda can't get it to work. Like, it doesn't make any sense. They just need to. I bet it will eventually get a performance mode. Or they're being very stubborn and being like, no, it's going to run at 30 for some reason. Because they did say, like, oh, you know, it can run at 4K 30 and it can run at 1080p 30. It's like, wow. So you're just straight up not giving people the option then. So that's a kind of a bold move, Cotton. I still have some materials here, so we're just going to build the rest of this before we take the train. Anyway, I don't know why I'm getting so fixated on that. I'm not playing on console anyway. I just hope it's optimized, I guess, for PC to some degree. I don't want this to be running at like 40 FPS on high settings on my PC, you know, because a PC like mine should be able to run it better than that, in my opinion. Anyway, but I think it looks great. I'd like to do a YouTube series on it. I don't know if people would be interested in that or not, but I'd really like to do that. Do a Let's Play on that game. I thought about doing one a long time ago for like No Man's Sky, and this is kind of No Man's Sky mixed with Fallout or something, you know, Skyrim. So I would love to do that. But unfortunately, I was saying in my Discord today, Rosie, my partner, has a wedding to go to on the 1st of September in Ireland. So we're going to Ireland on the 1st of September. We haven't booked it yet, but we have agreed to go, so we're going. And then 2 days later, it's her 30th birthday. So it's kind of coming at a bad time. So the reason it comes out on the 6th, but it's got 5 days early access if you pre-order. Now, I don't recommend people pre-order, but as a content creator, you know, it obviously helps to be in there first, or be in there at the ground level with other people, especially as a smaller channel like mine. So if I want to have any hope of it, I just feel like I'm not going to be there for it, which sucks. We'll see. Pretty sure you can make a YouTube series on drawing paint. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like sci-fi things, you know, just space in general, physics, astronomy. Big fan. And the fact that they're going with a more hard sci-fi approach really has me intrigued. And what they called it in that video was like low sci-fi, or lo-fi sci-fi, yeah, lo-fi NASA or whatever, which is pretty cool, I think. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But again, I don't have massive expectations. Some people are disappointed they're using procedural generation for anything, and I'm not, you know. I think it's cool. It looks detailed. And I think having 1,000 worlds... They've said it's 1,000 star systems, right? Or is it 1,000 planets? Big difference between the two. So if it's 1,000 stars, you're looking at maybe 5,000 planets. And if you got 5,000 planets... So something kind of interesting about that is that it's a lot. It's a lot for any one person. But for the internet, and for a little bit of time, it's nothing, you know? They'll easily be able to catalog all 5,000. Easily. Probably on the first day. So there's something kind of interesting about that. I almost wish it was bigger. If you just went with something like, I don't know, 100,000. It's like, that could take a few weeks for people to get through and really catalog and find certain things, which would be quite cool. But not like No Man's Sky, where it's like, well, this is just ridiculous, isn't it? It's like, well, there's billions. Well, it's like, okay, great. But even in that game, people catalog areas, which is kind of cool. It'll be a month of patches before it's playable. Possibly so, yeah. I mean, I'm somewhat a bit more bullish on it, a bit more confident with it, just because it has been delayed so often, and because I think Xbox as a brand have a lot riding on it, that I just don't think they're going to put out a really buggy game. I could be wrong. I hope I'm not. I think we're all kind of sick of buggy games. Good sci-fi space sim is Elite Dangerous. Yeah, no, I'm aware of it. I've actually never played it, though. I'm not a big multiplayer guy. It's a multiplayer game, I feel like, so I just don't really play multiplayer games too often. Sometimes I do, but not often. I used to play almost exclusively multiplayer games when I was... Ah, that's not necessarily true, but I played a lot of multiplayer games when I was a teenager. They're just getting older, I'm just not interested in it as much anymore. Alright, there we go. That's one floor done. We gotta do another one, though. The one above. Although, probably better to do the one below, actually. And then we'll put the walls on it. Redfall has something to say about buggy games on Xbox. Anything is possible this day and age. Yeah, that's true. I think my point is bearing, like, including the idea of Redfall being so rough, there's more pressure on Starfield to be even better. Like, I think if Phil Spencer gave a shit at all, he'd be like, we can't have another Redfield now. Alright, we shouldn't have had it in the first place, but we really gotta wake up and... I don't know, I can't think of a good analogy. Smell the whatever. I was gonna say something offensive I don't want to say. You know, we just can't really let that happen again. Like, it's one thing to have Redfall happen when you shouldn't have. It's another thing to have Starfield be fucked as well. I mean, that would be pretty bad. I mean, that would be demonstrable, I feel like, so... Oh, it's getting so dark. I don't know, maybe I'm on hopium or something, or I'm just hoping that they care. And I think they do. They've delayed the game multiple times, so... And it's good. I think Spider-Man are kind of staying out of the way. Spider-Man's a month later. So they got time to breathe and get the game right, hopefully. Alright, we're out of concrete. What's up with games that come out not ready? I have no idea. I have no idea. Well, there's multiple things at play, you know? There's the business reality of... I don't know. I have my own theory about it, which I could go on a long tangent about. Ultimately, I don't know, I guess, the answer, but... Something interesting has been happening in the industry in the last 5 years specifically. And that is that the price for developers and the consumption of video games has gone up massively. So, when I say the price for developers, with the mergers and acquisitions that have been happening in the last 5 years, it is a huge amount of money has come into the industry from outside sources, namely tech. So your Microsofts and your investment funds and all this different stuff, that's Saudi Arabia, all this kind of stuff. All this money that then comes in has meant studios are just making bank and shifting around a lot. But, so as not to pay tax on all the money that they're getting, they hire up huge amounts of people, they expand, and they buy other studios. And that way, it's an expense, it's not necessarily direct taxable income. What this has led to is a massive increase in wages for game developers, which is great, because they're being paid more for the same work, which is awesome. I think the game development scene was radically underpaid compared to the tech sector, and still kind of is. The interesting thing here is that it's driven competition massively. So here's where my point actually makes some cogent sense. Retention is tougher than ever at these game studios. It doesn't matter what the studio is, whether you're Naughty Dog or you're Bethesda, people are coming and going every year in massive numbers because people are being bought or, you know, given higher and higher salary rises. So the last 5 years, I have a fair few amount of developer friends, maybe about 10 or 2015, I guess, broadly speaking, and more that I would know through connections from the studio I used to work at. They're hopping studios like crazy. One of my friends in particular moved to a studio because they offered double his salary, and then 6 months later, a different studio doubled it again for him to move again. So people are just changing hands a lot, and I think anyway, my theory is that has something to do with the idea and the reason that some games are coming out, quote unquote, unfinished. That deadlines are being set by producers, and then when, you know, I don't know, a fifth of your studio is turned over a 3 or 4 year project, these projections are getting massively out of sync with reality, and that games are coming out way buggy and late because you have to get new people in, train them up. Even if they're experts in their field, they need to be trained with their particular tool set and engine and all of this. So I don't know. I think it's also a little bit of a knock-on effect from COVID, but that's my theory on why our games coming out more and more buggy. They're also more complex than ever, and I do feel like the overall standard of developer has overall dropped. And I say that as someone who has a degree in game development. I don't think I'm the same level as a game developer from 1995 who was squeezing everything out of a PS1 or a Game Boy or whatever. I couldn't do that, you know? So I think the quality bar of your average developer is also lessened because they're more in tune with just being able to use an engine rather than make an engine. Anyway, that's a bit of a rant. There you go. What's happening? Is this what's happening to Star Citizen? I couldn't tell you. I really don't know specifically about Star Citizen too much. That game is suffering from a couple of different things, namely feature creep. So I'm not close enough to the project to know much more about it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, I hope I'm wrong, but I have a premonition we're going to see these videos that compare the actual release of the gameplay. Possibly so, yeah. I think people are... I hope... I don't know. I just feel like people are more and more aware of this year than anything. The idea of bad quality games. So it'd be really bold for them to put out something that they think is going to be Fallout 76 style bugs, you know? Maybe they will, but goddamn. I don't think they should. I think they know. I feel like they will suffer the consequences of that Cyberpunk style. Maybe they'll make their money, but they'll lose their players and they won't be able to make much on DLC or stuff, you know? I don't know. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen. Try to be positive with this one. I am positive on it, actually. I think this time it'll be good. I think it'll be exactly what they show it to be. That's my hot take on Starfield. And what I saw was firmly in the range of a game that's going to be like an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's going to be this 9 or 10, personally speaking, just from what I've seen. I think it's going to be a solid 8, 8.5 type game. Like good, in-depth. Doesn't really necessarily do anything that's genre defining, but it has a lot of systems that ultimately come together and are good. Maybe the story's good, maybe it's not. Doesn't really matter. But yeah, who knows? That's my guess anyway. That's happening everywhere in tech. Well, they know kids will buy a buggy POS and they'll still be profitable. Also outsource QA basically for free. Yeah, no, totally. Well, the thing is, companies do get away with it, right? People buy, and like even in the case of Cyberpunk, that was a game that had 8 million pre-orders. And do you know how many people refunded the game when they offered refunds to everyone? Something like 30,000. Something like that. So people just don't care. So I kind of can't really fault the companies in a way. Like if mass adoption is just going to continue happening, and maybe the average person just doesn't care. Like my brother, I would consider a very casual gamer. And I bet he wouldn't care about something like a low frame rate or some bugs. Like I just don't think he'd care. He's not going on forums and talking about it. He's just like playing whatever he sees on the shelf, and he'll text me every now and then, hey, is this good? You know? And I think there's just more people like that than there are people kind of quote unquote like us who maybe pay attention a bit more to the fidelity of things. And also there's a big group of those people that think, well, it'll get updated and it'll be fine. I'm not going to return it now. I might as well just wait until it gets patched. But where they do suffer somewhat is post-release content suffers. You know, Cyberpunk could have had DLC out quicker than it has. But they had to work on patches. And their value of the company dropped by 2/3, and it hasn't recovered to where it was pre-Cyberpunk levels. So, you know, it's not completely without consequence. there's that Gollum game. That was unbelievable, that Lord of the Rings Gollum game. I mean, that is insane. But that's obviously a very small C-tier studio that's just in way over their head with that. And on Steam, the peak concurrent players for a Lord of the Rings game in 2023 was something like 700 people. That was the peak on day one. So, you know, they felt the consequences. There's no... I can't believe a Lord of the Rings game just didn't have more people buying it. And of those 700 or whatever on day one, I bet you half of them refunded it. So, it's not completely without consequence, thankfully. What am I looking for? More concrete. I think we're out, though. Oh, no, still got a little bit more. Alright, this will be the last run of concrete I do, and then we have to get the train down to the south of the map. I can check my milestone, and then we can also... yeah, just load up a train full of concrete and bring it back up here, and just do a little sightseeing as well. Why not? If you don't mind, can you please let us know your process, games you worked on? Oh, so yeah, just so people know, I haven't worked on any games. I worked for Creative Assembly. I worked in marketing, though. I have a degree in game development, but I got hired in marketing because I made YouTube videos. So I worked as a programmer for a small indie studio for about 6 months that are no longer around. They were making an engine, so I was like helping them with their engine. I was kind of like I was an overall gameplay programmer, but I was a mini engine programmer in a way. I was helping with the engine. And they were making an engine kind of like Unity. So imagine I was a programmer on software like Unity for 6 months. And then after that job, what is it? I had a few... Sorry, I just got distracted by something. I had a few months of not doing anything, really, and I started doing videos on YouTube in 2013 for Total War Rome 2, because I was really excited for that game. And then the game came out, and it was really buggy. So that's when I started my YouTube channel, because what I was doing was I was critiquing kind of the bugs. If you ever watched, like, these really old videos I did, it was like patch number 7 was, like, my first video. They had 7 patches in, like, 6 weeks or something. And the video was about the AI pathfinding couldn't make it to the wall. And I was discussing what type of pathfinding I thought they were maybe using. And I was kind of saying, like, here's what seems to be going wrong. They've got 2 types of... They've decoupled their frame rate from the input rate. And it seems like the pathfinding is on, like, the input rate. And there's all this boring kind of tech jargon that I was trying to work out just based on watching it and playing the game and interacting with it. And anyway, Creative Assembly contacted me and said, hey, we like your videos or whatever, and do you want to come to the studio, see the next game we're working on, a bunch of other YouTubers? And I said yes. And as soon as I got there, I was trying to put my foot in the door was cracked open. I was trying to kick it open to keep my foot in the door, as they say, to get a job there. And they weren't hiring at the time, but I did a programming test, and I basically got the equivalent of like 65% on it. As I would have been, a junior programmer fresh out of college, basically, at this point. And they were like, yeah, we're not hiring a programmer, but we'll give you the test in case you're some sort of savant. And I'm not. And they were like, yeah, you didn't get it, but do you want to work in marketing and maybe QA? If you want to work towards, like, you could do videos for us, and then if you want to work towards, like, design and QA, because those guys really liked me, the design guys. They were like, we could give you a 6-month internship where you do 6 months of design and then 6 months of, 6 months QA and then 6 month marketing, and see how you get on. Just, see how you get on. And I was like, yeah, that sounds great. So I actually did the marketing one first. Then after 6 months, I was about to transition over to QA, and we were all prepared and ready to do that. I'd already been kind of doing it anyway. And it was QA with a design focus because the guy knew I was interested in that. Really nice people to work with, because they're like really like, hey, this kid wants to do this, and some of the other designers were vouching for me, saying, yeah, he seems like he'd be able to do it. So they were trying to put me on the path for that, which is nice. But the marketing guys were like, oh, he's doing really good at marketing, so we will just offer you like a full-time job now, rather than you having to be an intern for another 6 months doing design. Now the pay I was on £16,000 for the year. My rent alone in my apartment was 1,000, where I lived, 1,050. So I was paying basically to work there, because they were paying me so little in terms of internship. So I had to take it, because I needed the money. So I decided to stay on and work in marketing. And then after 2 years, I left. And that's basically it. I had opportunities to move over to design, but I kind of got deflated of the idea of doing it, because I felt like they had very little creative freedom. I lived with the designer. And I guess I heard all of the problems, And I heard a game director, who was a friend of mine at the time, was just really upset with certain things and really frustrated, and he was actually going through a lot himself in his own personal life, which probably didn't help. And it just really put me off the idea of like, oh, I'm going to work here for like 6, 7, 8 years, work on the grind, become a game director, and then hate my job because I'm so constrained with everything. It's like, because I have to do yearly releases. I was like, no, I think I'm good. So then I left, and I've been full-time YouTube ever since. So that's the story of where I am today. Anyway, if you don't mind, can you please let us know? Oh, so there we go. That was the answer to that question. Darren, have you checked out Age of Wonders 4? I've heard really great things. It's just not my type of game, to be honest. But I've heard great things about it. Maybe one day I'll play it, but I've no interest in it right now. I'm not a big hex turn-based kind of guy. And I'm not really into fantasy anyway, so not really for me. But people have really praised it. Like, it's really, really great. So I'm sure it's good. Best RAM and SSD for Satisfactory? I couldn't tell you what the best is. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. And I've got an NVMe SSD. An M2 NVMe. It is a WD SN850, I think? I think so. And yeah, it seems to work pretty good. But I wouldn't know what necessarily the best is because I haven't compared any. I was watching your Anno gameplay and I saw you were live. Just wanted to show some love. Hey, thank you very much, Abdulaziz. Yeah, hopefully you'll be streaming Satisfactory in the future. Or sorry, Anno as well in the future, but just not at the moment. Still working on getting some scheduling things correct. Alright, there we go. I mean, that took a while, but so far in this stream, we've actually been building a lot. You know, we built this whole pillar, filled in the 2 floors of this place. Now I need to do the walls. I need to go make a run for some materials, though. We need extra concrete to be brought up to this area. More steel. Another floor has to be done, but we could do that a bit later. So I guess I'm committing to 42 by 42. I just don't know if I should come out further or not. The only reason I think maybe I should is because the pillars I feel like will look kind of strange. Let me work out something to do with the dimension of the pillars really quickly. I want to see how wide they are across. Oh, I know how wide they are. They're across. Damn, I didn't need to do that. They're on a foundation of 8. They are 7 foundations across. I'm not going to make this. I'm also on the world border edge here between 2 tiles, which is why the frame rate goes low sometimes coming back into this biome. 42 is it. Any ideas on not getting overwhelmed in this game? Yeah, just do one thing at a time if you can. I don't really have a better. You just have to be disciplined and do one thing at a time. That's what I do. I wish I had better advice than that, but I can't really think. Oh, here's one thing. I usually make a to-do list. So on the right-hand side, you can make a to-do list. Today, I'm not really using it, actually. But that's what I've always done in my different episodes. Excuse me. Is I make a to-do list, and then I just go, look, it's got to be on the list if it's going to be something I'm doing. I'm not going to start running over doing some random odd job. It's like, no, I have to do... And we've just done this, by the way. So I've done B pillar now. Strut B's pillars in place. So just stuff like that, you know, I feel like being organized, making a little list, sticking to it, getting one thing done at a time, be quite satisfying then to look back on what you've just done and then move on to the next thing, you know. What's my favorite game? I've got a few other comments to read, but I'll just answer that really quickly. One of my favorite games ever would be The Last of Us, the first one. Another one is Metal Gear Solid 3. Minecraft. Final Fantasy 7. Rome Total War. Those will be in the top 5. Games that are a bit more modern that are in my top favorites will be Anno 1800. This game's kind of getting there. Try to reserve it for games that are out rather than early access, but this one I really do enjoy. But yeah, Anno 1800 definitely. I think it's just one of those city builders slash logic games where I'm just like, this is really, 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 really good for me anyway. It's just like one of these games that's I feel like people will look back and be like, that was a really good entry. Like that one is great. It's maybe the best. It is the best in the series, I think. And it's really nice that we got that in the modern day rather than something that we look back in from the 90s or 2000s ago. That was great. Anyway, so there you go. Warhammer 3. Total War Warhammer 1, 2, and 3 combined. I don't know. I do really, really like that game, but it just doesn't have that special... Like, I think that's a game that you could say, like, yeah, that's a 9 or a 10 out of 10. But for me, it's just not one of those ones that has, like, this special place for me. Whereas Anno 1800 really does. Minecraft really does. Rome 1 really does. Those are games that... And Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid 3. Those just enter into that nostalgia zone of your mind. Because it's like, this is like, that is just one of those experiences I'll never forget. Really, really good. Whereas Warhammer 3 might be because of the way it was released over time for so long that it just doesn't have that feeling for me. But if I hadn't ever played 1 or 2 or 3 and then it all came into me at once, I'd probably be a lot more blown away by it. And that kind of would probably factor into like solidifying a place in my memory for it, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this game for the days and days you put into it. Yeah, no, I do enjoy it. This is the thing, some YouTubers do content and I don't blame them or anything, but they get really tired of their own game. You know, I know a few Hearts of Iron YouTubers, for instance, that end up really resenting the game and they don't like their audience and they don't like what they're playing, and if they play other things, it doesn't view as well, so they have to keep going back to it. And I'm so lucky to not be in that position. I'm not as big as those guys, but I'm playing a game I genuinely really love. I love reading what people are saying about it and giving me ideas and tips. It's why I don't look ahead and spoil the progression for myself. I try to just play the game because I don't want to ruin it. You know, I really like it. The same with Anno 1800. And that's why I'm hoping Starfield might be something kind of like that for me. Like these games that I'll just really enjoy. And I think it comes through. When you're watching someone who's enjoying the thing they're playing, I think it's better. Naming no names, Ares. Oh, Spartan, you got spam deleted or something. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the all caps. That damn stream elements thing is way too particular. Sorry about that. I don't know actually how to unban you or untime you out. I don't know if you're timed out or not. It might have just deleted your message. If not, you'll be back in 10 minutes though. I'll just have to keep telling people I'm sorry if you get timed out, but you will be back, and I'll try to loosen up those restrictions later on. Anyway, the plan is to start streaming Satisfactory with the 1.0 update, but I think I might try a test run of Update 8. Any advice for someone getting into the streaming game? I don't think I'm the one to give advice because I'm quite new to it myself, especially on YouTube. Consistency is key though, I think. Just whatever you choose to do, just be consistent. Be there at the same time every day or every week, whatever it is. Come rain or shine. And try not to put your problems on other people. Those would be my main pieces of advice. Reliability, I think, is such a massive thing that's really underrated. People say, like, hey, you want to be reliable, but then when the time comes, you go, I'm running a little late, or I have to go out today, or whatever. And it's like, that is really unfair to the people that were hoping to catch you that day, I think, anyway. So being consistent, I think, is super important. Which is why I'm not choosing to stream 5 days a week right now, because I just don't think I could maintain that. But I can hit every Monday at 3 p.m. We could do that. And then eventually I'll add another day and just make sure I can keep hitting that. Sure, your channel will become big? I don't know about that, but maybe. Who knows? One can hope. Hey, Ancient Hero. But yeah, I don't know. I've been on YouTube with this channel for like nearly 3 years, and the growth is quite slow. I don't get many subs. I probably lose as many as I gain, really, every month. But the videos are doing well. I've got no problems there. So, it's all good. What was I going to do? I had to get more... So yeah, concrete... Let's switch the music for a while. We're going to go for a wander. So I'm just going to put on different music for a second. We're going to leave this area. I have to go fetch some materials so we can have a look around at the map a bit. Alright. So, gonna go grab some materials. We're gonna dump some of these back into their respective boxes, and then we're gonna make a run to where I can get some right now. Whatever, just get rid of some of these things. Alright. Who's signed for the new FNAF movie? Five Nights at Freddy movie. Not me. I haven't actually played any of the games. City 2 and Satisfactory 1.0 are big opportunities for me? Possibly, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. There's bigger creators out there that do all those things, so I don't know. I keep my expectations... I'm very cynical. I'll just keep them firmly low, and then you can't be disappointed. I saw a channel recently that was super high, thinking like, oh yeah, this release is gonna... They were saying it openly. They were like, we're gonna get a massive influx of people, and they'd mentioned it for several weeks, and then... Oh, it was to do with PlayStation. They were saying like, because of the PlayStation conference, they were expecting all these big announcements, and they were saying like, we're gonna get the most traffic we've ever had, like for sure, on their Patreon and stuff like that, and it didn't happen because the announcement wasn't that good, and you could tell that they're very dejected by it. So I'd rather just be like, look, if more people find my channel when it hits 1.0, then great. See you later, Sleepy Seeker. Sorry if I missed any comments, by the way. If I've missed comments by now, just write it again. Top 5 Total War games. That's a video, that's a discussion for a different time. On my final stream on Twitch, actually, recently, I, what's it called? I did a tier list. So that tier list exists somewhere. It's probably in my Discord somewhere. So I can't even remember what I ranked them, but you can see that there if you join my Discord. If you ask for it in Total War, someone will, whoops, it literally accidentally fell out of the truck. If you ask for that, someone will give it to you, I'm sure. I'm a bit lost. I haven't driven this way before, and I'm going completely the wrong way. Okay, that's why. This is why people shouldn't drive while they're trying to read text. I think I started watching you when you were playing Rome Total War with Jackie Fish. Nice. Now he just plays Bannerlord. Yeah, yeah. That's because he's like many people are, what's the word, left behind in the Total War scene. They're waiting for another historical Total War that they actually want. Him, Pixelated Apollo, a few other YouTubers. There hasn't been a game for them for a while, and Pharaoh doesn't look like it's going to be one. The next one, I think, will probably be good, but it's always the next one that we hold out for. Yeah, that was an autosave, yep. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's quite long sometimes. It's every 30 minutes it does an autosave for me. But the game, I've been playing the game for so long that the autosave is quite big now, so the file takes a while to write. I forgot. I actually had... We'll take the train anyway, but I think I unloaded this already. Yeah, there's actually materials in here that we can make use of. Are these full? These are empty. Oh yeah, they are actually. So I don't need to go there, but we'll just do it anyway. I don't think I have any steel. I need steel. Yeah, I still need steel, so that's okay. That doesn't happen to me. When you're playing this game, if you have a lot of stuff in the world, it will happen to you. Trust me. Doesn't matter what PC you have, it's gonna happen. Unless you just turn off autosaving, I guess. Yesterday at the game's announcement presentation, they showed a new city planner game that takes place in ancient Rome. Yeah, I saw that. Nova Roma. Little cartoony for my liking, but I'll still probably try it out. It's from Hooded Horse, good publisher, so I'll probably try it out. Yeah, I built factories all around the world. Trying to start streaming might not be a good idea after all. Got a puppy at home, so I'll end up walking every 10 minutes. It's funny. Just for fun, let's go through the transport hub. Why not? We're nearly as big as Big Shell. Yeah, Big Shell's my biggest one so far, but I've got other factories that are pretty big. Well, to me they're big. I've got them all over the map in different places. I only started noticing the saving take quite a... Oh, by the way, the saving is slower when I'm streaming as well, so it isn't as slow when I'm on my own. You can actually see it when I'm recording in videos that it doesn't take that long, because in some of the videos it's there. But you can see Big Shell from here, I think, yeah, creeping over the mountain. We're just heading down to the south of the map. It's a bit loud, actually. I might lower that train volume in future. Passing by. So I just passed by. That is my aluminum refinery. That is the area where we get the materials for the aluminum refinery. My oil processing plant, where we make plastic, rubber, fuel, turbo fuel. Also where a lot of my power is handled. Actually, pretty much all my power is handled in there. I was about to ask if it takes long on videos to stream. Yeah. I'm so scared to start train logistics. Yeah, I was really nervous about it too, because I'm not very good with trains in games. I've been becoming better. It really isn't actually as difficult as it seems. It's just intimidating at first, but I feel like if you just build with a few rules in mind, then you'll be fine. So you kind of, I think the first mistake I would have made was you need to build, here's one of the rules. Rule number 1. If you're building a train network, you have to decide how long your trains are going to be and just stick to that. So for instance, I think the optimal people say is like 4 carriages on a train, so that means your train is 5 carriages long if you include the front. So when you're building out your signals, they always have to be like a gap of 5, you know? And that way you'll not have the issue of trains over, like, so you can't build junctions any closer together than 5, otherwise you'll be overlapping them and things like that and have problems. If you just have that rule in mind and you know, like, okay, everything has to be this distance, it makes life a lot easier. Another one is always having parallel tracks makes life easier as well. And then I would say as well, having factories having one in and then one out is usually good. Don't have it be going in both ways. I don't think that's a good idea. Hey, Etheric Bard. You guys know equivalent of a cyber power for Germany. I need to buy a desktop without thinking too much and with good service. Well, cyber power, I did have good service with them until my last PC, and then I had really, to be honest, the service was fine, but the product was broken, and I got it resent to me 5 times. So their liquid cooling, their custom tubing and liquid cooling just did not work for me, and it kept breaking. It was either really noisy, or it didn't work, or the PC was shutting down, so I had a very bad experience with them that way. Their customer service was good though, to be fair. Like, they were on it, trying to help me and everything, and they ultimately did. And we ultimately just got rid of the water cooling because it just, I don't know what was wrong with their shipping method or whatever, but whenever I got it, it was just broken when I got it. So, but yeah, there's loads of other PC manufacturers that build custom-built PCs, but I wouldn't know specifically for Germany, I guess. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. Need to go over there to get steel. So I'm looking to just get a big old inventory stack size of steel, and then maybe some concrete and bring that with me. This is the same steel foundry I built at the beginning of the game. Maybe episode 10 or something. It's been getting quite low. Big Shell has been demanding tons of materials like concrete and steel. It's for the first time I've been actually like having to kind of wait for them to make things. So that's encased beams. There we go. Oh, it's full. It seems to be full. Yeah. Great. That's steel pipes. Don't really... Is that a bat? What the hell? There's bats in the game. Are they bats? Pretty hard to see. They're fluttering so much. Yeah, it kind of looks like a bat. I didn't know that. Wait, you're German? I'm not German. Jaredriek was asking in Germany what company to go with. You want to take concrete or take a little bit of that and then we'll get some concrete and then get the hell out of here. Looks like bats, yeah, basically like alien bats. Oh, I totally forgot about this box. Wo sind die Döcher in this stream? Does anyone speak German in this stream? I guess I do. Alright, good. We are good to go. Don't even need the train thinking about it because... So previously, last time I came down here, I made multiple trips up to there, just loading it with concrete and things. But I don't need more concrete. I needed steel, and we don't have any more, so this one trip will be enough. Wouldn't belts be better than all other transports? If it's pure, if you're looking for efficiency, then belts are the way to go. Belts don't cost any power. They don't take fuel, and you can set up as many of them as you want, delivering goods. But I would argue it's less fun. People who are all about efficiency, I mean, maybe it's fun to them, but I would argue that, yeah, you're not actually having fun. You're just trying to min-max the game, I guess. But, you know, each, whatever people enjoy. I don't really judge how other people play, but I wouldn't do that. Darren speaking German. Ich kann Deutsch nicht. I don't need to do this, I just thought it would look cool. At least it's got something on it. Alright, I'm gonna turn down the train volume because it was really loud. I think I had this problem before where I couldn't find trains. There's truck and tractor volume there. Drone. Is there no volume slider for trains? Am I crazy? The door, constructor, assembler, manufacturers, these are all whatever. Biomass, fuel generators, all that stuff. And then we get to explorer. Factory cart, tractor, truck, drone. Drone port, miner volume. Yeah, I don't know. It seems like it doesn't have one. Not inside equipment. Could be. It could call, say, locomotive or train, right? Train station. Yeah, I don't know. Guess there's no setting for it. I thought there was. What's my nationality? Do you want to take a guess at it? I'm a man of the people. That's my nationality. Effects? Well, effects would lower everything, right? So effects volume, I'll expand it, and we have consumables. If I turned down to 7. Didn't change the noise of that, so that didn't do it. Oh my god, I'm gonna collide with a train. Oh, that was so close. Oh. God, that was like an inch within hitting it. If you even tap it, they both go off the rails. Yeah, it must be inside factory volume. So 65 is what I have it set to. So that does make it quiet. So it's either in there as a setting or it hasn't been given its own thing for whatever reason. Factory volume controls the volume for trains. We could turn it on a little bit. It was just a bit too loud. Yeah, I'm from Ireland. I'm Irish. I live in England at the moment. By the way, people were asking earlier for about channel memberships, because for City Skylines, I can't remember who it was. Two people said it and I forgot to respond. But yeah, so I said that the people who are channel members will get videos early. They will, but right now I'm waiting on City Skylines to get a patch so I can play it. They broke my save like immediately. So once that happens, then you'll get some videos early as well. And also, just shout out to channel members in general. I think I'm at a record, about 200 at the moment, so I really appreciate that, so thank you, if you are one. And if you're not, I appreciate you just being here. Like I said, a like goes a long way on these videos, so smash it, as they say. Let's go, British people. So I'm not British, I'm Irish, from Ireland, Republic of Ireland, not Northern Ireland, which isn't British, not part of the UK. But I live in Southeast England at the moment. I've lived here for 7 to 8 years now. Hey Martin, how's the stream? Yeah, it's been great. We've been building up on Big Shell. It's been a little bit like building kind of more slow-paced, mundane things. I had to build a big pillar support and build out like a floor. But I felt like I actually got a lot done. We just ran out of materials. I used like 3 crates worth of materials. So a lot of stuff has been built. I feel like progress is actually good. Oh my god. Shit. Oh, well, there it goes. It had to happen somewhere. It's fine. Rain will be fine. Hey, thanks, Matt. All right. Let's see. Do you call chips crisps? I do, yes, crisps. And I call chips chips, or I call fries chips. I'm always scared of a derailment when I ride the rails. Mostly, I just hitch a ride on normal. Yeah, often when I'm on my own. So normally, what I'll do is I'll just set the target of where I want to go. But this railway station isn't actually hooked up properly to the network where I'm going. So I could have told it maybe to go to the Crystal Oscillator Factory and then just taken manual control from there. That probably would have been the smart thing to do. Imagine calling an Irishman British. Eep. Probably offensive, I don't know. I don't get offended with that. I'm not very nationalistic, so I really don't care. I do correct people if they say it though, because I'm like, well, it's not quite the same. Oh, I'm so sorry, Conceiver. Your message is deleted by Stream Elements because you wrote in all caps. You'll be back in a few minutes though. Why crisps? I don't know. They're crispy? Probably why. Why chips? Because they're not really chips to me. Certain Americanisms I do prefer to British-isms or whatever you want to call them, but I do like calling crisps crisps. I think that's a good one that we have. The craziest one the Americans have is calling biscuits cookies. That is insanity. That's insanity. It's like not even the same thing, dude. Everyone knows that a cookie is basically a biscuit with chocolate chips in it. That's a cookie. That's what a cookie is. If there's no chocolate chips and it's just like any other type of like biscuit, it's a biscuit. And then there's a scone, which is what I think you guys call biscuits. Which is just, that's just madness. That one's really crazy. There's slices of anything? Yeah. Can I get some slices? Fries is a good name for them, I suppose. Fries for chips. I guess that's fine. I kind of think of it this way. Fries, to me, we call it fries when they're really thin. Like McDonald's do fries. That's how I kind of think of it. Whereas if you get thick cut potato chips, like I call them chips. You know the way you call it ice chips? Right? Gotcha. In America, you call it ice chips. That's definitely real. So those thickness in potatoes, I think that's fair to call chips. Whereas if you're going to have thin crisps and you're going to be calling them chips, suddenly your ice doesn't make any sense. What's going on? Anyways. I don't know if I can even unload some of these things. They have milk in their gravy. Now we're getting all kind of crazy. Hey, Jeff. It's a cookie. Cookie comes from the Dutch word, which is gooikie. They're fries because they're deep fried. Yeah, so fries make sense to me. Lots of things are deep fried, though. You don't call them fries. Anyways, we've got our steel with me now. Bonk. It's quite a coincidence that there was the same amount in both of those carriages. Alright, I want to fill this bad boy up. Do I have reach here? No. This is just like a temporary thing, obviously, because I just need more materials. So what else would I need? I think I was low on wire, actually, so that's a good one to get. Some concrete. Kind of low on iron rods. Alright. Wow, I can actually hold quite a bit. Alright, let's just drive with this. This is enough. One of the weirdest things is a southern dish of chicken and waffles. Chicken and waffles? Whoops. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be necessarily that opposed to it. Sometimes I'll have chicken. Sometimes I'll have chicken and waffles and an egg. And hot sauce. That's sometimes what I make for myself. I'm not a big fan of cheese or bread. Bread's okay. I'm just not a big fan of cheese. I don't hate it or anything. I'll eat it sometimes, but I don't have that thing that people seem to have, which is they really like it. I'm like, it's fine. It's like anything else. That's just average to me. But so sometimes I'll just have like plain chicken, like a kind of southern fried chicken, breaded chicken with hot sauce, and chips, or like you said, a waffle and an egg on it. Where did I start? I started in Grassy Fields. Grassy Fields. My first live stream for me. Got into your channel from watching your first episode of the Let's Play. Hello, Witten. Welcome. We're building big now compared to back then. So I'll catch people up. If you've just joined, I'll kind of catch up on what we're doing. So effectively, I'm building Big Shell from Metal Gear Solid 2. So on streams, I do sort of like more in-between stuff between the episodes. So for instance, I guess on a stream I built one of these, and then sorry, on a video I built one of these, and then on a stream I like built other ones, and I built bridges. On a video I built one bridge, on a stream I built all 5 others. You know, so it's the sort of, you're here to kind of chat with me, and you don't mind the slower pace of things. That's what these streams are kind of for. Stuff that I have to do anyway to keep the series sort of moving, I guess, and see the progress always happening. Anyway, we're building Big Shell. Each strut has its own different thing that's going on in it. So just to re-explain it very, very quickly, I can do it quite quickly over here. I have a diagram explaining what this place is going to make. I have an Excel sheet telling me everything that it's doing as well. So basically, all the struts are labeled in letters. I'm going to change this music for a second. In letters. So that's A strut. We've got F over there. F is here. F is going to be power. But we have the central core that they're all attached to with bridges, and that's not built yet. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. So I just need to fill in the floor on the top now, and so I had to make a run for materials. I should have enough to do it now. I just need to pull some of the steel out of this thing. Is that what I need to make that floor? I think it is. Yep, steel. So what have I got on me? Wire and rods. So rods can go back in here. And wire can go back in here. Alright, we can get back to work now. Nice little tour as well around the place. I did make the pillars bigger. Yeah, we built one of them on the stream here. And I showed how to do it. Effectively what it is... So the pillars before were on a bed of 4x4 in terms of foundations. Sorry, there we go. 4x4, now we're on an 8x8, so twice as big, effectively. So the surface area inside is twice as big. So now I've got a 2x2 concrete pillar up the center, and we have an actual rotund pillar. It's round, like it should be, not hexagonal. And the way we did that is basically by starting with a center point. Oh, this one's a little different, actually, because this one wasn't made with blueprints, so it was me figuring things out. It's got all weird shapes. But effectively, you start with a center point, and then you go out 3. And then you delete the center point and tilt it to the side 3 times. So you'll kind of do this. 1, 2, 3. And then you go 1, 2, 3. You build that, you get rid of the one you started with, you put it down again, go 1, 2, 3, and you just keep doing that. And then you will end up with this shape. And if you do it with this material, it sort of doesn't clip with itself. Like, it is clipping, obviously, but it's okay, I guess. So yeah, so that's how we ended up with that shape. Now, probably needs a hypertube to get up and down, but we can just fly up with this for now. In future, I'll probably take the core to get to the top of these things rather than actually go up the pillars. Really enjoying your build series. Keep it. Thank you, TC. Boo. Always admire how you can stay motivated on Satisfactory. Always start a new save. Well, for me, it is a little different. I do have people watching, so I'd be letting people down if I just stopped. But sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I building all this? You know, part of me is like, should I just mainline progression, get to the end, instead of spending what could be like 50 hours on just the aesthetics of a build, you know? So I do have those doubts. But because it is a series, because we have channel members and viewers and people that are invested in the series, I'm also invested into finishing it. So that helps. But it wouldn't be that easy if I was on my own. I can appreciate that. Because I played the game twice before and I never finished it. I need to get up there. Click, 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 click. Don't have any cable with me. Don't need any cable. I can put down a ladder maybe. Oh, it's gonna tell me I don't have any, what's it called? Iron, sorry, for the ladder. Yeah, don't have any iron rods either. Well, do a foundation, so we could always just actually, we could just jetpack from here. What am I saying? Alright, we're up. We'll start in the corner with this. Darren, thoughts on Update 8 Experimental? Well, I haven't played it yet, so I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks awesome. I think it looks really great. At first, when they were first showing things off, I was kind of like, seems like a pretty small update, really. But it's a lot of small things, I think, combined that will make for a bigger impact on the experience, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, basically. It's like a giant quality of life update. That's almost what it seems like it's going to be. Alright, just got to do out this floor, and then we can start looking at what's needed for the walls. And then map out where the train station is going to feed under and where things are going to come in and start dividing up the whole build into their different sections. Sorry, just one sec. Man, it's getting really hot. Yesterday it was like 28, 29 degrees Celsius where I am. It's really hot. Would love to watch him play S+. Oh, the mod? Back in just one sec. Alright, I'm back. From what I understand, the move to UE5 is going to break all mods. I hope someone can tell me I'm wrong. I believe it will. It won't be too severe, though. The thing is, it'll just require mods to update. And it's not like they have to rewrite them from scratch or anything. It's still the Unreal framework. Their mods will work. It just will require that the mod authors update their mods. Which has always been the case, really, for every major milestone update, I think, right? Unless it was just texture mods. Texture mods should still be fine. Anything that's just changing... Unless, I guess, the file directories are different, maybe that would break. I don't think that would be different. I guess, ultimately, I don't know, but I would imagine that it's not going to be any more severe than it was when other updates happened. Melting into my sofa, watching this from the cesspit of Sussex, yeah. Exactly, yeah. I have an air conditioning unit. I just don't want to run it while I'm streaming because it's very loud. I'll see if you guys can hear it, actually. Hang on. I think you'll probably be able to. Just another autosave, by the way. So there it is. That's it on. You can probably hear a little buzzing noise or something in the background. If I don't speak, you don't hear it, actually, but... That's the aircon. But I'll keep it off. It's a little annoying, I think. Especially to come on and off whenever I speak. A lot of the quality of life in Update 8 seems like quite a few of the mods are included. That's an interesting perspective. I suppose, actually, yeah, that's why someone was saying pack utility mod, you might not need it anymore. It's true, like, you could just make your game creative if you wanted to. One cool thing, I'll say, that'd be an interesting thing to do now with the game, is you could go into creative mode, make any blueprints you want, like anything, just fly around a blueprint designer, make all your blueprints, and then start a run and go through the game much quicker without ever having to design any. You know, you'll have all the materials. Like, obviously you need to hit the milestones to be able to build the things that are in the blueprint designer. I'm not saying that you could just do that, but I'm just saying that could be a way to just very quickly be like, oh yeah, like, I'll need this, this, and this, so I can just hop into my creative save, make a blueprint, then hop back, and then you've got it. You don't have to run to your blueprint designer and... you don't have to run to your blueprint designer and start like making things based on what you have in your inventory. You could just go into your creative world, do it there, and then the blueprints are shared across saves. So at least that way, your designs will stay intact. That'll be a really nice quality of life as well, I think. I really do wish they made the blueprint designer bigger, though. I mean, I'm begging for a 5x5. I know people think you'll just ask for a 6x6, but I won't. 5x5 would be perfect. I think 4x4 is just a little too small. Because it's just too small for certain machines, you know? Anyway. It's 42C in India? Jesus. Yeah. Can't hear what? Can't hear it? Oh, you guys couldn't hear it? I'll turn it on then. It'll kick in a minute, probably. That's good to know. When I was on Twitch, you could definitely hear it. If I watch this back now and I hear it in the background, I'll be really upset. I'll tell you when it's on, though. It's not on right now. It kind of doesn't come back on if you turn it off for a little bit. It waits till the temperature changes. No, you'll go to 10 by 10. I do think, like, the sweet spot is 5 by 5. I think 4 by 4 is too small. I would like 6 by 6. I don't think they should actually go bigger than that. I can appreciate where they're limiting themselves in terms of game design before that. Alright, we ran out of material, so we're almost done. Just have to finish that part of the floor. Did Nick's just immediately come in here? I just opened the door a second ago. Oh, okay. Sorry, my cat is just up on a shelf, and I was like, was she here the whole time? Just baking in the heat. Where am I, by the way? So I'm kind of lost. Got turned around. Oh, there we are. So the air conditioning unit is just turned on now, so you might be able to hear it. You'll only hear it when I'm talking, so maybe I'm just talking over it so you don't hear it. Anyway, really nice build. Thank you, BN Doug. Sorry, Doug. I agree with the copy and paste thing. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, it's taking shape. I look forward to having this core built and then having the bridges just done properly now, because then all this kind of scaffolding looking stuff can kind of go away. We'll just have the actual build to look at as intended. Man, we burned through that steel like really fast. We still have another 3,000. Is that it for concrete? That is it. There's more at that train station just over there, though. That should be good enough to use for a little while. Just take this in case I need it. I needed some iron rods as well. And some cable. I hear it, but it is faint. Okay, thank you for the info. Yeah, I'm really persnickety. I'd probably prefer that people just couldn't hear it at all. So, I'll listen back to the end of the stream later and see if I feel like it's too loud. When you finish this world, do you plan to send out a download? Yeah. I don't know, excuse me, if other creators plan on touring the world. Maybe Big Shell. This place is pretty cool. My other factories aren't that impressive, I don't think. Some people say they are, but if you look at like Stin Archie, or Create In, or Fluxo, those three guys, it is like, they're like 10 out of 10, and I feel like I'm at like 5 out of 10, you know? But a build like this might be interesting to see. This one is kind of different, so it's like, oh, at least no one else has built anything like this. And it actually it has a good function as well. It's not just the aesthetics of it, which are interesting. Obviously, it's a copy. It's not my original design. It's Metal Gear Solid 2. But the way I've made it for supercomputers, I think it actually is pretty good. I'm gonna pat myself on the back for this one thing that I think, yep, I think it's done relatively well. Because it makes sense. Like, you can see why you would build this. Not just purely to make it look cool. Because some people make factories look really cool, but then they don't really serve a purpose to look that way. Whereas this one does. But that was kind of a happenstance in a way. Is there a reason for the core being lower than the struts? It's not lower, it's the exact height. Oh, it comes down lower. That's because it's twice as thick. I don't know why. It is that way in Metal Gear Solid 2, so. It's kind of like background white noise. Ugh. I'll probably turn it off in a minute then. I'll just cool the room for like 10 minutes or something and then turn it off. It feels great though. I sleep with that thing on sometimes because it is just, when it's a consistent white noise like that, like you said, it's easy to tune out. Form and function, yeah, that's one thing I'm happy with it. And it would be cool to give out the save and see if other people built onto it or modified it or made it better. Yeah, I was more answering the question thinking like, oh, will I give up my save at the end of the game? Yeah, totally. I don't really expect many people to make videos on it, but I thought maybe people would like to see it. People ask me for the save all the time, and my blueprints and stuff. I've got no problem giving out blueprints, especially. The save I don't want to give out just yet, though. It's got to be no mistakes left in it until I give it out. It's got to be a perfect world. Nothing that I... Oh, shit. Nothing that I say like, oh, for now, like, this is going to be this way. I got to go around and clean up all those things. Brown noise S tier. Can't sleep without a fan blowing cold air and white noise right at me. That's so funny that you say that. Yeah, we've got a fan in our room. So when I moved to this, I live in an apartment. When we moved to this apartment, there was a kid below us that was very loud. He'd be crying and screaming a lot. Like 3 or 4 years old. Which in my opinion is a little old to be so out of control, but hey, I'm not a dad, so what do I know? Anyway, because of that, we did a bunch of things to try and soundproof the room and just like not have to hear this kid screaming at like random times during the night or during the day or whatever. But what we ended up doing that worked the best was we just got a fan. I needed it anyway for summer, but when the fan would be running during the night, I would have great sleeps. I just wouldn't hear anything other than the drone of the fan. And it seemed to drone that out perfectly. So we use it every night now. It's great. But I find it funny you say that because I just heard someone on a podcast recently saying, like, it's a white people thing. Now, I don't think I agree with that. But they were like, oh, white people like to have a fan blowing in their face. The fan we have in the room actually just blows at the wall. We just use it purely for the noise. I suppose you could get a speaker to do the same thing. During summer, we might aim it towards the bed, but I don't know. I don't really like the feeling of contact like that. Damn, did I not bring enough? I brought way too much steel, not enough concrete. God damn. You can glitch into the maps with hypertubes. Yeah, so I'm like anti-glitch, I guess. I don't like using glitches and things in games. I find it so puzzling in some ways and interesting that so many people love to exploit games. I'm like the total opposite. I like to get really immersed into a game. And if you start exploiting, I break all my immersion. I have no interest in the game anymore. So I hate seeing exploits. I don't mind if other people do it. If that's what people enjoy, that's totally fine. But I would never do it. And people are like, oh, you can build a hypertube that goes in a circle and launches you across the thing. It's like, yeah, but it's so janky. I don't want to do that. But that's just me. I guess I'm weird. I don't like to break games. I don't even like using hypertubes because I go into third person. So I generally try to avoid them. It's something I've talked about before. I think it's a really weird inconsistency in the game. Like, why not just keep me in first person? Why not? I just don't see why not. But anyway. Was it just concrete? Am I out of concrete? Oh my god, I'm actually out. Eesh. Stand there for a second. I can just fly over and get some. Same, I like Skyrim. Get OP, lose interest. Yeah, I don't know. I play games for escapism, I think, primarily. And I just love to get immersed in games. Like, it's just... Whatever game I'm playing, I always want to be the guy that's you're in control of, or the girl, or whatever. Like, I want to pretend like I am them. I'm doing the thing. It is me. That's just... I don't know. I have a very childlike mentality with that. And once you start cracking open games and show me how they are made and how they work and stuff, or breaking them with exploits, I'm like, you just took all the fun out of this. Like, I'm purposely never gonna do this, like, ever. And I hate even knowing about it a lot of the time. Sometimes it's interesting though. It's like, it's interesting to see how people break games, but I just don't know why you'd ever want to play like that. But that's just me. But it's funny because I actually, yeah, like I said, I have a degree in game development, so I know how games are made and I know how things are done. But I just, yeah, I wouldn't ever want to actually peek behind the curtain of an experience that I'm in. I think knowing how games are made did actually kill off a portion of the wonder about certain things for me when I used to play games. You'd play like Total War back in the day and you look at one guy and you like give him his whole life and stuff. And now I look at it and I just go, well, I understand what that is a lot more, you know? And that's not just because of game development. I guess that just comes with age a bit as well. Concrete, there we are. That's all the concrete I've left. We'll have to do a run for lots of concrete. I had 4 big containers of it down in the bottom of the map. You know, guys, I actually might have to go and get it now. I might just do that while it's nighttime anyway, because building will be a bit awkward. I'm going to make another train run. I'll try to do it quicker, though, and we'll load up every carriage with concrete. I have it available. What's in this one? Let's unload this first. Anyway, let me catch my chat a bit better. I'll turn off that air conditioning now. Alright, so it drives my wife nuts. I'm like a polar bear. Can't get cold enough? Well, she freezes in Florida summer. I don't agree, but I completely understand the exploit part. Yeah, like I said, I don't judge anyone for doing it, by the way. I'm the same way as well. If you want to go under the map, I use a void hole somewhere to go under there. But it's really about as far as I'll go. I just know you can use hypertubes that way, yeah. I think the bottom level of the strut bridges may benefit from removing the railings. That way, all the openings will look like rectangles from far away rather than having gaps. Hang on. Let me read that one again. So this is the strut bridge. I think the bottom level of the strut bridges may benefit from removing railings. That way, all the openings will look like rectangles. No, I like that it's broken up. I like that. So you'd have this, but everywhere, right? That's what you want? Just that center part? I like that it's broken up. I know it's uneven. I could make it even if I wanted to, but I prefer it. I just like it that way. The reason it's built this way was to be uneven. Because I don't know why, but in the game, the bridges aren't even the whole way through. They actually have like all different bits on them and stuff. Sometimes they have pipes and running along, and then they'll have railing and then no railing, that kind of thing. They have multiple floors. So, I mean, if you wanted it to be totally uniform, why not just get rid of all the railings? You know? So, all in the eye of the beholder. There's no correct answer. I just prefer it that way. It was done on purpose. I used to play a lot of Minecraft until my buddy taught me the duplication glitch, and it ruined the game for me. Oh. Well, see, I also have the mindset that I can know about exploits. I'd rather not, but I'll avoid them. I can live with it and avoid it. Because people say that in comments of videos all the time. Like with Anno 1800. Anno 1800 added a DLC that added mail to the game. Right, and so post offices exist in the game, and they existed before. So you can have a post office, and it's placed in a certain place, but then they added an update where the post offices then had a radius that you couldn't overlap the radius. Okay, so they had to be spaced out. But if you'd started the world before that update, and without that DLC, they don't have that issue. You can put them really close to each other, which makes life a lot easier without boring people too much. Why? Anyways, in my latest video, I was trying to work out how to get their radiuses at a good distance or whatever, and people were like, hey, if you just like if you unload the DLC, you can put down post offices close to each other, then just load back into your save and they'll be there. So that's an exploit, and I'm like, that's cool, that's great. Great for you. Good to know. But there's no way I'm going to do that. Like, first of all, I wouldn't feel satisfied in overcoming the solution to the problem. But also, I can just choose to ignore it. But some people are like, if they know a way that makes things more efficient, they can't not do it. And you know, there's something to be said about these types of games attracts people that may be a little bit more on the spectrum, right? You want to get things orderly and done efficiently. And those types of people might be a little less inclined to want that immersive or natural experience. They're like, no, I want to see the numbers go up and be efficient and do things properly the way they should, the way that would make the most sense. It doesn't matter if you're breaking the game to do it. It's about the result being the best it can be, rather than the experience being the best it can be. And for me, I'm the other way. I'm all about the experience being pure to the design of the game, typically, and also just like one that makes me feel like I'm immersed in the world. But each to their own. It's always interesting. I love seeing, like, Legend of Total War is a friend of mine, and we came up on YouTube together. And he's a really big Total War YouTuber now. His whole thing is showing people how you can just completely break the game in unexpected ways, and it's interesting. And then you have someone like Spiffing Brit, who takes it to a whole nother level. He breaks every game. So I never would have thought that'd be popular content. I thought what I thought I found that I'm in the minority, I guess, for that. Maybe. Maybe it's just popular to view and not do. That could also be true. That sounds like a little song. Anyway, I'd say keep the railings, looks more organic, says Etheric Bard. You can use trans to go through the map. I know you meant trains, I just thought it'd be funny to read that. What's your next factory after supercomputers? Batteries. Yeah, batteries. Then I can get my drones up and running. And then after that, nuclear power. Nuclear power. From which game are you inspired for this build? Metal Gear Solid 2. I could show it actually in a second what it looks like. Type in, if you're looking in Google, other search engines are available. But you can Google Metal Gear Solid 2 Big Shell. You'll see what I'm doing. From afar you think it doesn't render as cleanly? Okay, I could have a look as well, again. Do I have to load this bad boy up with tons of concrete? Am I blocking much if I just park here for a bit? I'll be blocking the oil train if it's... Where is the oil train right now? Oh, it's on the way out, so that's good. Won't be blocking it then. Wow, my frame rate. I feel like the room is so hot, the PC's probably struggling. Just make sure anything is turned off I don't need on. Alright. Your mindset is why I enjoy your playthrough more than any others. Thank you, Steven. Yeah, well, I think it makes for... yeah, that's interesting. Thank you. I was going to say, with a game like Project Zomboid and other things, I think it makes for... When I did a series on that, I think it makes for immersive viewing. And you believe the story of the world and what's happening. I don't know how it translates to a builder game, viewing a building game. Because that is a lot about efficiency, I guess. Like... I'm probably one of the smallest Satisfactory creators there are, if you consider the ones who are like popular that do it longer than me. Like I'm Kibitz or Total X Clips. These guys get like 100,000 views in every video. You know, I get about 7. They're huge. I'm a small fries. And that's probably 2 reasons, right? I show a lot. I don't like I do edit the videos, but it's a let's play. It's not a hey, check out what I've built, or this thing is huge and crazy, or whatever. So I don't know. If I'm again, I think maybe that's the minority view, is doing things the way I do. But it's what I enjoy. I like doing edits though sometimes, like with, what was it? Project Zomboid, I did big narrative edits. Huge modded map, and it did really well. The only reason it ever stopped, actually, is because my PC broke down at the time. Speaking of cyber power, a while ago. I did, yeah, have a train crash earlier. Agree with Stephen Beale. What does Stephen Beale say? Let's see Stephen Beale. I see Stephen Foster. Oh, he's all the way there. I'll take a Darren build over a Flux build. He does nice things, but you have to have mods to do it. Oh, really? Oh, I thought... I've seen a few of his builds where he didn't use mods. Or I thought he didn't. I didn't actually know he did, if that's the case. Alright, just like load up, make 2 more of these trips, and that'll give me a lot of concrete to bring up north. How long have we been going, by the way? Yeah, we got another 30, 45 minutes. Thanks for the subscribers, by the way. I don't typically call out the names. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there was a piece of food on the underside of it. That's crazy. Sorry, it was just me and Rosie talking about our cats, of course. We've got 2 cats. One is named Nyx, the other is named Jinx. And they're quite... I know they're just cats, but they really do have quite interesting personalities, I think, for cats. And they're just very opposite to each other, which is just funny. We just find it funny. One cat, like, just loves food, just eats everything. It doesn't matter what it is, just eats it. Almost anything. And that's Jinx. She's smaller. And she's a real big bully. She'll like push Nyx out of the way, who's like twice her size basically, to get her food and stuff. And she eats twice as fast as her as well. She'll just sit there, eat all of her food, and then just stare at Nyx, like just waiting for her to eat. And Nyx has like no bound, or Nyx is like a really nice cat. She would never like push Jinx out of the way or anything, whereas Jinx does the opposite. She like tries to bully Jinx or bully Nyx out of the way, doesn't let her have her food, kind of thing. Anyway, we were just saying that like Nyx is also a really, really good cat. She doesn't break any rules. She's like really, really well behaved, whereas Jinx is nice and everything, but she's definitely like a bold cat. She'll break rules. So she was hopping up on the counter stealing food just there. Rosie just came in to tell me. That's all. It's funnier to us, but they are interesting to be around. And until we got cats, I'm a dog guy, I guess, primarily. But these cats really changed my mind on what having cats is like. I think it's because they're indoor cats. They're much more social with humans, and they have much stronger personalities. Because every other cat I ever knew before that was just like disinterested. Whereas these cats are like, you know, they know their name, they know loads of different things, they pick up on loads of different cues for different things, and they're quite fun to be around. Anyway, it's Nyx like NYX. Darren, you're not a small creator. The small ones have less than 500 subs and are lucky of 10 people. Well, that's extremely small. Yeah, I'm a small creator who's full-time. I'm like as small as you can be and be full-time. Etheric Bard, hey, thank you very much for the super chat. And he says, it's the way you do the builds that makes the content worth watching. More in-depth and easy to follow. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And thanks for the super chat. First one of the day. Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm aware that there are creators out there smaller than me. I see them all the time. But I meant like in terms of not hobby level. You know, people who are full-time creators. So in that regard, I'm at that like I'm at the almost the bottom threshold of where you can be to be a full-time creator, and have been for 5 years. So I'm not complaining. I feel very fortunate and very happy to be doing what I'm doing, so it's not a complaint at all. Alright, we got 4 fat loads of concrete moving back up north. Get the core construction done of this place. It's crazy how much it's taking. Might set the train to do its thing itself. So we'll tell it to go to the crystal oscillator imports, whatever. Let's go there, man. Alright. Cats are so different and opinionated. Well, I will say a lot of people do anthropomorphize cats more than anything else, right? They put all these feelings and thoughts on them that are probably not there. But, I mean, that's fun. Who doesn't do that, right? With their dogs and the cats. It does seem like cat lovers do that to an extreme. Rosie will come up to me and be like, oh yeah, they're thinking and doing this. I'm like, well, they're not really doing any of that, are they? But yeah, no, they're just, I don't know, they're a lot less passive than I thought they were. They're great. I love my cats. They're really, really great. Nyx is 3 and Jinx is 1. Anyway, if you're a full-time creator, you're already in the top 2% of creators. You're doing what you're doing, things will generally work out. Yeah, I hope so. It's not as easy as that. People think like, oh, just keep doing it and the views will come. But you lose people over time. Like, so I might gain 2,000 subs each month, but I don't have 70,000 views on every video. You know, I lose people over time too. I think North Shell is going to be a break. I don't necessarily think so. I have tinnitus. If I didn't have a fan on just for the noise, I'd go insane. Oof. I hope his Final Factory is going to be the biggest project of his world. I think nuclear power will probably be pretty big, although I haven't worked out how big it's going to be. Because I don't know much about it. Did the trains go through the doors if they don't? Yeah, they do. Yep. For a European guy, your trucks are on the wrong side of the road. Well, I live in Ireland and in Britain, and here they're on the left. Dog is your best friend, the cat is your master. It does, yeah, that kind of feels that way. My dog is kind of my best friend. I would say he was, but I have seen him, but I sort of passed him over to my brother 8 years ago. Excuse me. He's 16. He's very old. He's a Bichon Frise. He's small. He's basically blind and deaf at this point. It's pretty crazy, but he still seems to like really enjoy food and going for a walk and stuff, so he's been treated quite well by my brother. He's in good hands. We were going to bring him over and have him live with me when I moved over here, maybe I moved over here about 8 years ago, but we got an apartment that allowed pets maybe less than that, so it's 5 years ago. But we were like, he's too old for that. He'll probably die in a couple of years, really. And he's been going for like 5-6 years. It's crazy. Cats are mean. Not our cats. Our cat Nix is kind of mean, but our cat Jinx is like so lovey-dovey. You just pet her and she starts purring and rolls over and wants you to rub her tummy and stuff, and she's never ever scratched me or bitten me or anything like that. Not once, ever. Not even by accident. I think for Rosie she's done it by accident a couple times because she'll be like trying to play with something. But she's great. She's like she's like a little dog. And she loves food, like eats everything. She is really like a little dog, and she's great. Nix, on the other hand, is well, basically, she's a meanie, like you said, and she'll like bite you basically constantly if you try to pet her. She doesn't like to be pet. She's friendly in other ways, though. She'll sit right next to you and wants to be with you, but she just doesn't. I guess she just doesn't like to be touched. I don't really understand why. Just doesn't like it. She doesn't mind head scratches a little bit, but you pet her anywhere else, and she'll let you know she doesn't want you to do that, and if you just keep doing it, then she will scratch you. So that's the way it is. By accident. It is an accident when Jinx does it. She's playing with a little toy and then accidentally, like, her claws are out. I feel like I'm talking about my cats so much here. I'll show a quick picture of them, and then we'll leave it at that. Because then at least you can go, oh, okay, yeah, it's a cute cat. What is it? Oh, Rosie changed what they're called on Instagram, actually. There we go. That's my cat, Nix. So this Instagram doesn't actually have Jinx on it. It's just Nix. Look at those eyes. But yeah, she's great. And I don't know if we have any pictures online of Jinx. Well, we make fun of Jinx because she's not as nice looking as Nix. She's a little bit more of an ugly cat in some ways. Not to the extreme, but just a little bit. But she doesn't look like Nix. She looks different. She's like a different breed. But she has the same coat color. She's a tortoiseshell cat. So black, orange, whatever. Blonde. But she's like a British short hair. So she's smaller and shorter hair and stuff. Yes, Nix is the shadow cat. Yeah, Nix is Burmese. We don't know. We just got them from some random house, you know. But I think Nix is Burmese with tortoiseshell pattern fur, and then our other cat Jinx is short hair, British short hair with tortoiseshell fur. Anyway, I think I learned about trains is that they only reserve paths after they enter the block, before the path, which causes the braking before each path signal. Yeah, I noticed that too. And they do something funny with going out as well. It's something to do with the block signal after the path signal has to be clear for the path to allow you to go through. So the path signal is reading the signal up ahead to determine if the path is clear. You know what I mean? It's like an in-between signal. A lot of people seem to not get that. I didn't quite get it at first. I kind of did in premise, but I wasn't implementing it correctly at first. So if you bear that in mind, it's like, well, a path signal is looking to find you a path. So it has to look at the signals up ahead. So let's say if you got one junction, one straight line leading into two lines, and then there's two signals on those lines. It has to like be able to check both of those signals. It can't just check the one before the divide. It has to check on the divide to know where it needs to go. So having learned that, I was able to clear up big traffic issues I was having. My current pet count is 2 dogs, 2 cats, 2 rats, and 1 snake. Wow, feel bad for the rats, man. They're outnumbered. If you push the block back a bit, they won't do that. It ends up saving a lot of time, too. They only reserve paths after they enter the block, before the path. So you're saying if the block is long, that particular block is quite long, then you won't see or notice the slowdown. Alright, did I just need concrete? No, I brought some concrete with me for the storage, but we ultimately are trying to also build other stuff. Let's just dump that in here. Alright, let's take the rest of that concrete. Alright, get building again. Tomorrow, 1 rat, 1 snake. Alright, seeing as it's daytime, we'll put back on the Metal Gear music. Interesting how many people had rats. By the way, Etheric Bar, thanks again for the super chat. I feel like you dropped some super chats last time as well, so I do appreciate that. Don't feel the need to, but I do. It is really helpful, so thank you. But, oh yeah, that's what I was going to do before Rosie came in, was just shout out to some of the new subscribers as well that we got. Warren Thompson, Kui, IB Bunny, Fernando, Yusuf Andrew Kozmowski. The reason I don't really call those out is because they could be subscribing on any video and it just gets shown. Doesn't have to be the stream, so they might not even be here. Some of them might though. Oh, I forgot to look at this. Sorry, yeah, I forgot to look at it from afar. Whoops. Oh, you have a wobbly cat? I was looking at them recently. Oh man, my heart breaks for those. I know that they're generally fine with it though, but you know, you just feel bad. I was almost tempted to adopt this cat before we got jinxed. That his name is Henry. He couldn't walk, and he needed a little nappy. I just felt so bad for the poor little guy. He was really cute as well. But Rosie was like, look, you know, you have to be changing that nappy like a lot. So, such a shame. Back legs don't know where the front legs are doing. Yeah, if you haven't seen wobbly cat syndrome before, it basically looks like someone who just can't balance. That's what it looks like for a cat. So they'll kind of walk and they just sort of always trip over. They just inevitably trip over. They can't sync up walking correctly. They're not in any pain, and that's the only life they've ever known, so they're not confused by it or anything. But it just looks like they're constantly struggling. Like, it just looks that way, really. And they are kind of, right? They're trying to get to something, and they're doing everything they can to, and they're just like stumbling and falling over, and then they eventually get there. I saw a really nice thing as well, where a family kept 2 of them together, so they're kind of buddies. And at least part of me thinks like, well, at least that way they're not looking at some cat that's normal, wondering somewhat if they're able to in any way introspect, wondering why can't I do that. I don't know if they can possibly think that, but at least they'd have a little buddy who's in the same boat. Alright, there we go. 42 by 42. That took a tremendous amount of material. But that's 3 floors done now. Alright, so what needs to be done now is I gotta figure out... Well, we could do one of 2 things. We could either build these T-junction bridges. How much time do I have left? I've got some time. So yeah, do the T-junctions, or put on the walls of this place. I feel like the bridge T-junctions might be more interesting to watch than just doing walls. And we did that earlier with the pillars, so maybe we'll do the T-junctions. This is a sort of logistics floor, I think. Yeah, I need to map out where things are going to go also. Do I have any power here? I do. So that's the level where the train would be. Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to do. So I know that it's 7 across. Let's work out where these pillars would be. I wanted to see if the pillars would look too fat on this place, because it's... I feel like it's not as big as it's supposed to be. I don't know. It's hard to work out from the diagrams. Or the images from the game. So let's say if the center point of a pillar, it's 7 foundations across. 1, 2, 3, That's 7 there. So in the center of this area is roughly where the... Well, I guess I should just do 8 by 8 actually then. Alright. I'm going to build one pillar so I can see if this looks alright. And if it doesn't, then I will extend this whole place out. Because one pillar I feel like will give me what I need to know. So this would be the size of like one pillar. You know, they're pretty thick. And then it would need another one over there. Every corner. So maybe the distance is actually okay. I was worried they'd be too close together, but that's a decent distance. What I need to do then here is go 4 over. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is our center. I think. Yep. That's the center of the pillar. Anyway, let me have a cat camera in a future stream. Oh yeah, we could do that actually. I wouldn't mind doing that. I have my camera here not being used. Friend had one like that where you would play with laser point with him, watch him ice skate around. That's funny. Off topic, there's a spoken word poet named Neil Hilborn who has a poem about a rat named Henry. It's in the fields every time. Will I be streaming for the update tomorrow? No. I'll try to have a video out soon though. This place will look pretty cool in update 8. Turn on the AC, we know what the noise is. We know what the noise is on the stream, it's fairly noticeable. No, it's all good, it's fine. I don't want to do that. It's okay. I was wondering, are you planning to leave those foundations as walls and fill in the sides with them? They're going to be... Sorry. Leave those foundations as walls and fill in the sides with them, or are they going to be columns in the corners? No, these are... Yeah, they're just going to be walls. So very similar to this area. We have the 4-meter foundation, and then the wall starts actually just slightly down on it. And this will be a little side wall to handle some wires and things. That's kind of the idea of these. So it's like a... if I could get the wall here. So we'd have a wall here, and then a wall here. And this would be an area that we can walk. It's like a maintenance area. So the true area of the factory doesn't start till in here. So it's a boundary wall to allow me to hide away some of the wiring, ideally. And we don't have to have these here. That's just for me to get up and down easily. Yep, that's the idea. Alright, so I need to do something really quickly, which is bring a foundation out from over there just to understand how high off the sea level we are. Once I do that, then this is the central point for a pillar. Then I can build one of these around it, because we have it blueprinted, so it should be nice and quick. That's a cool idea. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't done that before. I got the idea because... in order to... Well, let's go up to the top of one of these and I'll show you. Other people have talked about hiding wires and stuff before, but I'll show you why it's interesting. I don't think I have power here, do I? I do. And like I said, the proper way up and down will be in the core. I could put hypertubes on the sides of this thing or whatever. Might do that, maybe. I don't like hypertubes though. I'll probably just run up the stairs. Which is why we have people here watching me. I'd rather not do that. So, when I was initially building out the hex, it was difficult to get a straight grid on the ground, you know, like the room to actually have this like straight grid coming off of the center, because obviously we have angled walls. So I hide that by building foundations, so it makes it look like we have a seamless kind of transition between the two. And then I was like, well, what I'll do is I'll just put a wall on this, and this can be a wall inlet where we hide away wires, we hide away other things. So this is like the true state of the room, as it were, and that way the foundations, we don't see any of the clipping. We got rid of a couple of these. We'll see why I've done that, right? We have this overlap and this clipping issue that's going on. We don't see it if we just do that. And we can give it a purpose, right? So, like I said, hiding wires or whatever it might be. And the walls and rooms are going to be different sizes. I'm not just going to build this all out twice. This will look different on the inside than it does on the outside. So you're not staring at this wall while you're inside. Just for now we are, until we build more externally. Hanging hypertubes under the walkways would be cool. I did think of that. You could have a spiral hypertube that leads up and around. So yeah, maybe. Like I said, I'm just weirdly opposed to hypertubes because they make you go into 3D or third person. So this staircase is also from Metal Gear Solid 1, with the idea of having this ridiculously long staircase. So just really quickly, for those who don't know, let's have a little showcase of what these things look like. There's a famous like fight sequence from Metal Gear Solid 1 where you're going up a very long tower. Obviously this is PlayStation 1. So yeah, you have to get alerted, right? So you have to be found or caught. And then you have to just basically fight your way up this tower of enemies. And there's just so many stairs. And obviously with the perspective in the game, you just don't know where it's going to end. So if I wanted to copy this directly, I could hollow out the concrete and have it be like the steel frame. And then this is what you get. So that's like, it's again an homage. It's a nod for Metal Gear, because this whole build is. So this goes on for 3 minutes. So you get the idea. But it's cool. Yeah, you're like throwing flashbangs to knock out the cameras and stuff as you're going up and up and up. So Metal Gear Solid 2 Big Shell? Probably be the intro to the game, I think.
I hear the cleanup isn't quite over yet.
It takes time. So that's Big Shell. That's what we're building. Offshore decontamination facility. It gives us a nice good eye on the supports that are down there. What's that, by the way? Hey, look, that looks like actually the pumps that we could use. This thing, look at this. This line here. It's attached to this strut. And by the way, look at those bridges. Look awesome. Yeah, it's almost like there's just pipes and stuff going up there. Yeah, you could have just an extremely tall ladder for Metal Gear 3. That would be cool. Big crane on top. Looks dope. So my plan here is to have like, yeah, certain lines going across them, certain windows. You know, they won't just be flat sides. They just are at the moment.
What are their demands?
$30 billion. Worst case scenario, if the chloride will be decontaminated.
And he swims into the core, doesn't he, I think? Something like that. Can't quite remember. Anyway. Coming along. There's an endless staircase in Metal Gear 2. MSX game. Oh, I never played that, I don't think. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, that was quite loud. I just said that very loudly. My bad. I did play that. I don't remember that, though, weirdly. In Metal Gear 2, yeah, so before the Solid. Yeah. Yeah, I played those. They were awesome. So cool. I didn't play them at the time. Played them way after I played Metal Gear 3, I think. Probably before 4. Right, so this is the height that I need to be at. This is why this is so complicated, because nothing lines up in this. Even this doesn't line up. So I just need to be at that height, right? Yep. Alrighty. The lale low. That I remember even we didn't have internet back then, 2002, and me and my brother would just say that to each other all the time. It's just random situations. It's such a ridiculous thing to say. Lale low. I think what was it? You got the Zone of the Enders. That's what it was. We got the demo from Zone of the Enders, not let you play the tanker mission. I feel like. Did I build that in the right spot? I think so, right? Dun, 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 dun. So in order to get this right, I have to go like this. I'm just trying to think. So yeah, this corner is the center. Got it. So my old pillars, that's still the center. Two. Yeah, my old pillars were this big. Now we're going to double that, and the center is still correct. So as long as this is correct. Yeah, good. All right, just pop that back in. Now it's just like building how we did before. Oops. In order to build it all seamlessly and quickly, it won't need to go as high, which is good. But I'll need to just make sure we have all the materials. So we need pillar bottom. I need 24 of these. And then pillar wall section, we need 48 at least. And then a concrete support, probably about 5, maybe 4. Let's say 5 just to have everything. So let's just go over, get our materials, we'll come back, and then we'll start building on that platform. Metal Gear. First hit. If I search for Metal Gear 2 MSX, I'll definitely check that out. Yeah, I'm curious to see it. There's your drone port option. Sorry, there's your drone port option. The elevated helipad platform. Yeah, totally. There's a couple actually in Metal Gear 2. You fight Fat Man on one of the ports that has a helicopter thing. Landing pad. So yeah, that would be where the drone ports would go. It should have drone ports, really. I just feel like it should need that, but I don't know what I would actually make them do, you know? Like, what would it bring in? It could bring in, actually, the crystal oscillators. That'd be cool, because it's not a very high amount. That'd be nice. That would be cool. Maybe I'll try to do that. Right, so we need 215 iron rods. More than enough. We need 60 wire. Too much steel. Alright, we need a lot of this. Just take it all. And that should be everything we need to get this done. If you build a hypertube, don't forget to put a bend at the... Yeah, totally. I nearly died. Well, thankfully, the game doesn't kill you if you have full health. I would have died otherwise. But I went straight down, like 100 kilometers an hour, straight into the ground. And my health went down to 1%. Alright, we have our 4x4. Let's make it 8x8. Alright, so it's 8x8. We'll just fill these in then. The reason I do that is just so I don't lose track of my center point. Alright, so so to get started on this, what do we do first? God, I can barely remember. Oh yeah. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Start here. Make sure that's aligned with the corners of these. Yeah. Alright, so... Oh, you know what? I need power. So let's just drag power out here. Also, just get rid of these platforms. Is there an achievement for finishing the game without dying? There's no achievements in this game yet, but that would be kind of a cool one. No death run. That'd be painful. Annoying though, wouldn't it? Really. But, yep. Grab this. This is how they actually built Big Shell in the lore. One man did it on an alien planet. Alright, can fly, get a little bird's eye view, and now we can do this. So, in order to build one of these pillars, if you're interested in knowing, we did it at the beginning of the stream, we'll do another one now. Sit up in the chair, get a drink of water real quick, and then we'll get going. Could stick it, yeah, it'll get in the way. I've done that before actually, it kind of got in the way. It's fine, this is enough, I don't need to go too far over. So, 1, 2, 3. And then we go 1, 2, 3. And from that center, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So we make a plus symbol that goes almost out to the edges, but it doesn't because we're starting from the center. Delete that. 1, 2, 3. And then we just keep doing this, and that's as easy as that. Is the floor too high off the water? I've done that on purpose. I'll show you why in a minute. But yeah, I originally wanted to build it at water level, like just basically be touching the water. Or like an inch above it, you know? But it was causing an issue with some of them, and I'll show you in a minute why. Just have to do this first. Alright, that's that done, so just get rid of this and put it back in regularly. Right, so you can try and do this a different way, that little bit. But I found that it was trying to snap to all these different angles, so just doing it that way seems to give us a nice and even 2 by 2 right there, which we'll use in a minute. Right, I'll just show you why really quickly, why I said that about where it's built and how high up it is. I just need to go to another platform to see why. It's not quite a circle, it's a 24-sided shape, yeah. It's true. Want to get technical. This is the reason. These things. Can't get rid of those. Can't get rid of them. So we build over them instead. That's basically the reason. Even then, there are some that are quite high up. And there's nothing I can do about it. So, is what it is. But that's why I've chosen to build slightly higher off of sea level, just because there's often these like little bits that creep through, especially on that pillar and that one. So, might not be a great reason, but at least there is a reason. That's too much wasted resources? Yeah, it's true. I mean, you could get rid of all the center now, if you want to save on the resources. And then you've only used basically what's needed for the circle. But I agree, it's a waste. So, we'll start now with pillar, although this will show you a waste if you want to see a real waste of resources. This is using, instead of just using a wall 4 meters, I use a basic wall 1 meter. And it's the same materials as a basic wall 4 meter. So I am quadrupling the resource cost to build this place by doing that. Almost completely. But it's gotta look good. That's the whole point. Not the point. Not at all. Get you. Come out here. Can't wait till I start putting lights on this thing as well. That'd be cool. Alrighty. Blueprints. Pillar bottom. First ones are a little awkward because they can sink down a bit too low. That's being super picky in a game with unlimited resources. Well, true, the resources themselves are unlimited, but something that is limited is the amount of objects that can be in the game. So you're actually just wasting sort of, memory space in a way, you know what I mean? Like, or engine object limit count. So I really wouldn't recommend people do it, especially if they're going to have a save going for a very long time and they want to build, like, lots of stuff. Because one day I might hit that limit, and then I'll be like, well, I gotta destroy these pillars then, because it's just a waste of space. Or destroy the little things I have on my trains. Like, we have those little bridges on trains that, I can't remember what they're called, like the little arches that have lights on them. So many materials are in those that just are just purely aesthetic. That would need to all be deleted, I think. Now, the object limit's huge, and it's getting even better with the next update, but, that's still just always at the back of my mind, like, well, I mean, these walls, those walls are like something like 30, I don't know, it's like 150 like objects, and it could be something like 24 objects, you know? So it's massively inefficient. Hey, Helia. I don't think you're even close to the limit. I don't know, you showed me that video of a guy with machines, and I didn't think he had that many machines. Was it? I don't know if it was you who showed me. I was like, oh yeah, he's got, I mean, it's a lot of machines. Several hundred, or thousands maybe. But I was like, it didn't seem like that many. I would like to know the number, just to know how close I am. It would be good to know. Is there a completion goal you have for this game? My goal, personally, is just to deliver the final space elevator parts. That's all I gotta do. It's just autosave at the moment. I don't actually remember or know what's needed for that, so I'm just working towards that. But I think it's like 1,000 of these 3 different types of objects. So you have to make 1,000 of them. So once I do that, that's it. GG. Then we'll use mods. And who knows, they might introduce milestone 9 and 10 before there's release 1.0 or something, then rebalance all the like the recipes or something. I feel like that's coming, you know. They're asking for that feedback all the time about time to progress and stuff. It seems like 10 milestones would be a good number, and if they're trying to hit 1.0, I imagine they've got some ideas about what these final tiers would be. Sorry, not milestones, tiers. I don't have any information on that. I just assume maybe they won't add any more, but I assume they will. Made the mistake of building on the inside of it. Oh yeah, that'll be interesting with the train. the frame rate take a breather for a second. Glad to catch you on stream. Thanks, Vincenzo. Cool name, by the way. Good to see you live for the first time. Hey, Helia. Again, and thanks. Can't wait for the update tomorrow. Then I'm going to start trying to record the game. Nice. Yeah, cool. By the way, when this update comes out, within a couple of days, probably, this week sometime, if it works, I'll be hosting a multiplayer server that people can play on. Although you'll probably need to be a channel member to get into it. Otherwise, I think there'll be too many people. So if you are a channel member, if you're in my Discord, we'll have... It just all depends. Like, I don't know how stable it's going to be, so I don't want to promise anything just yet. But that's the idea. The idea is to have a multiplayer game going. Shared server. And I'll hop in every now and then. Although, obviously, I'll be busy with this one. But if you're looking for a little community to play with, you know, it'd be good. Hopefully it works. Fortune's theme is my favorite. I actually kind of don't like it. I guess I'm not a fan of the saxophone. I had no problem with it in the game, but hearing it now, I'm just like, I want to fast forward that one. Me personally. I guess that's as high as we need to go. That's basically it. So we need to do the concrete support section on the inside, which is what I left that 2x2 for. Is this going to be too much? 3 is enough, right? Yeah, I'll leave it at that then. Alright, so we made it. I can add to this obviously later. Sweet. Hey Vincenzo, thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Alright, cool. So I guess this will need to come out to about here. Now the idea of putting one of these pillars in was purely just to get a feel for how big it is, or how big it looks as one leg. And if it needed to come out further, if it needs to come out further, then I'll just use Satisfactory calculator to move it. Or actually with the update, I'll be able to delete blueprints and just move it much easier. That'd be way better, thinking about it. I don't have to delete everything individually anymore. So no need for it, the calculator. I'm just leaving a 1 tile gap around it because the stairs will need to come up somewhere around it. So this will be chopped away, but we'll just leave that in place for the moment. Let's get some distance. Need even more distance than that. Yeah, I actually think maybe it could do with coming out a little further. Maybe. Like, imagine the other one will be in that corner. Sorry, flattery works. Only acceptable saxophone is careless whisper. Saxophone prejudice is such an ugly thing. I dislike saxophones too. I'm interested in a multiplayer server, but how would that work? Just a bunch of people all doing their own thing on top of each other. Yeah. So you can set a limit of how many people there would be. Let's say there's, I don't know, 10 slots or 16 slots for people. And ideally, if you're playing multiplayer, you buddy up with a friend and go to a part of the map and make something. And also, you could be like, hey, you could be all collaborative, right? All co-op. It's like, oh, we want to... You do share all the milestones. So, in theory, it's just a big collaboration. It's like, okay, like, you know, John and Alex are going to go out and they're going to get, like, loads of concrete. Mary and Sue, they're going to go get Caterium. We're going to be advancing some of the first milestones to get everyone up and running. And then you just type in the chat, like, hey, what can I do, you know? And people hopefully be nice. and give you something to do. Or at least say like, yeah, we're working on this, like someone could be working on all sorts of things. Or you could just, at the very worst, like what I'd probably do, because I'm quite an antisocial gamer, is I'd probably just go to a part of the map, pick a few resource nodes and be like, I'm going to build a factory here, and just do that. And have my own power network and everything. And then if people wanted my materials, then it's like, okay, yeah, we'll hook it up to the network and join it together or something. If anyone's griefing or trying to tear down other people's stuff, then they'll just be banned. So yeah. You make great videos. I'm busy watching your old ones, trying to catch up. Yeah, there is a lot. They are long. That's good there. More oil riggish, if that's the word. Yep, totally. Let's have a look again, just really quickly, at Big Shell to get an idea of the proportions. Big Shell, Metal Gear, Solid 2. Those pillars actually look slightly thinner than these in this one. This is a 3D model someone made. I think in the game, they are a bit thinner. Whatever, man. I'm not going to be making thinner legs. Are you kidding me? We're just going to make a squat Chad. It's too awkward to do it otherwise. The only thing I can think of, maybe we could try it really quick. I don't know if my method of making this circle area works if you do it smaller. I think 3 by 3 is the minimum. Let me just test something really quickly. So if I went out to 2... Actually, yeah. Let's just start up here. If that went out to 2, and that went out to 2, and then I got rid of this. Yeah, I reckon it looks good as is as well. Yeah, see, then they'll be all like offset. I was just trying to wonder, like, could you make it smaller in an easy way? But I think it would require a lot of fine precision movements like this. Yeah, too awkward. What about if it just tilted 1? That'd be insane though. It's the amount of materials you need to do that. Yeah, forget it. If you go out to 3, like I said, showed earlier. 3 is just the magic number if you want to build a circle. So you go 1, 2, 3. And then that hits, you know, almost with no overlap. This is a tiny overlap, but it's really, really... You don't have to worry about it. And then if you build them with metal, it kind of curls into itself anyway, or clips into itself. Are you going to do that extra floor underneath that's stepped in? It was in the image you sent on Discord. Not sure which one you mean. Hang on. This is the one I showed on Discord. There's no floor. There's a bar that goes across, if that makes sense. Like if I just copy the image link. Like that's like a pipe almost that goes across. The center columns are chunky monkeys, and I like it. 3 clicks, indeed. Next step down would be a 16-sided circle, so that's 22.5 rotation. But I can't control the rotations, can I? 22.5 degree rotation. Underneath it, what am I missing here? Sorry. Are you going to do that extra floor underneath? That's oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Maybe. So I've left the tops of the pillars bare for now, right? What Marnus is referring to is there's... I'll find that on Discord, actually. So I don't have my Discord open right now. There's like a hexagonal shape that can fit underneath. The problem is making a hex that's smaller is really difficult. So I could just make a square underneath and it might still look good. I was thinking of maybe doing that. Right, Discord, there we go. In the Satisfactory channel in the Discord. There we go. So this is from the actual game. So you can see under, so we were wondering about like the pipe joining in looked a little strange here. Like it just kind of goes in, I guess. Maybe it's fine, I don't know. But then I checked the game and it's like, oh yeah, it's like there's like a layer. There's a separate layer underneath. That's the same hex shape, but just further in. And quite thin. But I don't think I can make a hex shape that easily. I mean, I could try. It would take me a lot of trial and error. I might try it. The way I'm thinking is I could just work inwards to get to a certain point, and then when it seems like they kind of line up, then cut it, and then that would probably be it. So that could work. But I'm not going to try that now. It's very trial and error. I'll do that off stream. But I've left them blank. There's a gap on purpose with that in mind. So for these ones, I don't know. I don't know if they'll need it. This is a much more squat looking building. I feel like it won't need it. Let me just turn that off. Have you thought about using one of the columns to do a corkscrew train rail and bring the train up? Yeah, I just don't think that looks very natural, so I don't like that, personally speaking. Corkscrew belts, trains, and pipes just look weird to me. It's kind of one of those things that we talked about exploits later. It's like, yeah, that's fun, funny looking, interesting for a video, but it's not the world I want to be in. You can do it. But each their own. Like I always say, these things, it's not like there's any right or wrong answer with that. I just don't like it, but that's just me. So that's where the train comes in. I was thinking of having like a smaller sub-building in the center hanging down that is a train platform. Or you could raise the train ever so slightly as it comes into this place. I mean, I could do that. Done that in other places. I don't like raising the train line, but you could do that. So I'll have to, again, just kind of take some time to figure that one out. One thing I'm just looking at right now is, does this thing, before I commit to building more pillars and stuff, does it need to come out further? Like, we've got some decent space with the bridges that are connected to it, that I could say, like, well, this bridge could be chopped here, and it could come out much further. I guess I just don't know if this place needs to be bigger. Let me go over to the diagram map, count how many machines, and then I'll roughly be able to work out the spacing inside. I'm going to turn down the music a bit, it's a bit loud. You could make the underneath layer all metal scaffolding. You give a great deep sea oil rig vibe. Yeah, it would look like it's kind of holding things up. But yeah, this kind of thing just has to be decided, I guess, before I build any more. Otherwise things need to move, right? I think it looks a little small for what it should be. I feel like these walls should be closer to that hex. Again, you can just check on YouTube why that is. Now, this is ultimately someone's render of it. But it's hard to tell, like the gap between the corner and the base, you know? Is my gap way bigger than that? I don't know. It actually looks about right. Maybe slightly closer. Slightly. Means maybe, yeah, come out another 2 tiles around the sides. That could be good. Yeah, I think I should come out 2 more tiles. At least 2 tiles around all sides, so it's 44 by 44. And the lighting looks really good. Alright, let's just do that. We'll pave out just 2 more tiles either side. What do these foundations cost? Let's grab some more steel. The corners aren't actually corners. It looks almost perfect. Yeah, I think it's just something in me is telling me it's just slightly too short. Doug thinks I nailed it. Steven thinks I've got it. You know what? Let's just cheat a little bit. We'll fly. This is about to be a game feature anyway, but let's just save it here. And then I'm just gonna activate flight. Activate flight and just have a look. Love the Satisfactory vids. Keep them coming. Thanks, Ben. Will do. Are you making both shells? No, just one. I don't need the other one. Maybe in the future I could do it again. What you could do on Satisfactory Calculator is literally just copy this whole thing, paste it, and then connect the two with one bridge. That'd be interesting. Oh, we're flying. All right. Just wanted to get the same perspective so I could see. I think we're short. It feels like we're short. This is just a render. It's not totally accurate to the game or whatever. Not that I have to be super accurate anyway, but it does seem like we're short. Also, interestingly, the corners have their own kind of square bit that juts out. That's kind of cool. So you could do this with the corners. And that way they'd have like their own, you know, they'd have their own thing. That could be nice. Yeah, so I'm thinking, let's just have a look really quickly. What would this look like? Yeah, I think it's better. I think it should grow. So cool seeing all the different struts. That's such an interesting one, the way it has to connect over to the other shell. Hey, check it out. That has a big ladder on it. Interesting. Yeah, mine you can actually go up and down inside. I don't think you could do that in the game. I don't know. Kind of curious to see that thing we saw in the video when we watched the game. Oh yeah, this thing. Wonder what that is. It's only connected to that strut. Strut A. I'd have to look up in the game what that does. Anyway, how's it going, Darren? How does episode 2 of City Skyline... Oh, when? Yeah, so unfortunately, they broke saves. They posted an update to the game today, 9 AM this morning, breaking saves, even for people who don't use mods. So they said that they'd put up a patch later in the day, which I don't know if they have yet. Yeah, so 9 AM, here's the patch, blah, 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 blah. Great stuff, cool. And then the replies were like, oh, another save gone. I lost my save. I hope my save file will work. I lost my save, same here. Patch is fairly minor, shouldn't affect mods. If your saves get corrupted, you likely need to clean them up. But then later, they posted, this is building spawn points. It's currently broken and expected to get an update later today. And that's the problem I have. Path Manager, find path position is broken. Gives you an exception, doesn't let you progress the game. So literally one day in, I am waiting. Yeah, I thought like, oh, it's perfect time to do a series because the game just got like what I would assume is probably one of its final DLCs, right? It's like, oh, the game's probably not going to get any more updates other than just small minor things, which is true. It actually did just get a minor update because Hotels and Retreats came out on the 23rd of May, was it? Yeah, 23rd of May. So, you know, just a few weeks ago. And I was like, great, last DLC's out. Cities 2 coming October. Perfect. Let's go. What could happen now? And then the next day, they've busted saves. Not only have they busted saves, but they've introduced a bug to the game, which makes it kind of tricky to play. Now, there's lots of people in the game, but I can't use the mods that I was using, for instance. And yeah, other people are posting like different issues. There's issues with, well, like they said, there's a problem with certain buildings. So consider the game needing a hotfix right now. So until the game gets its hotfix, I'll be straight back on recording straight away, and then we'll go straight away for episode 2, and I'll try to bank a few of them so that channel members and stuff get stuff early. So yeah, so it's unfortunate, but it's out of my hands. So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna load this back up. We're gonna thicken up the outer rim, as it were, and that'll probably be it. It looks fine proportionally, says Tessellate. I'd make the middle building just big enough to let the player jump from one platform to the middle. No. I need to build it to the specifications of the other buildings. I can't just be like, how far can we jump? Although, here's what we could also do, just real quickly, while I'm waiting on this loading. This is what needs to be made here. So inside of the actual core will be these buildings. Not just those, but these. And these. So that's all in the core. So we have, I don't know how many machines this is, but let's count this up. So 30, let's just round it up actually. So 40 assemblers there, plus 30, plus 16, plus... So that's in total assemblers, 86 assemblers need to be in there, and then 32 plus 21, so 53 manufacturers. So that's the floor space I need. 53 manufacturers, I'm just going to round it way up. 100 assemblers, 60 manufacturers. That's what I need for space in the core. Now there is 2 floors, so that's good, but it also needs a train station. And it needs a pumping room that's going to take in something like 30 pipes, because half of them are water and half of them are oil. It's currently a 42 by 42, so adding 2 on each side. Oh yeah, would make it 46 by 46. Actually, it's not 42 by 42 then. It's currently 44 by 44. I added 2 by 2. It started as 40 by 40, and I added 2 on either side. All sides. So that's obviously 44 now. So we'll go to 48 by 48. Hey, Pursued Firefox, thank you very much. Became senator as well, thank you. Really helps a lot. People who become channel members, they basically make their view count for about 1,000 views. If you become a channel member at the senator tier, something like 2,300 or something like that. So massively appreciated, so thank you. DS has so many patches, there are no original game left. The band-aid of a game now. Yeah, some people I saw are kind of unhappy with it. I saw some with 30,000 hours leaving a negative review, which I thought was funny. I'm not one of these people that think like, oh, you're not allowed to leave, and like the game's changing, so if you want to leave a negative review and not recommend it now, that's fine. Some people, I don't like it when they just post a review and they go, oh, this person has 30,000 hours and he's giving negative. Gamers are crazy or whatever. It's like, yeah, because the game updated, dude. Maybe he's not playing it anymore. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm sure I think the game is still very, very good, but it does seem to have like system after system just thrown on top of it, and there's a lot of... There seems to be some things that are like not cohesive with it anymore. But it's still great. It's still the best city builder there ever was, I think. Maybe apart from SimCity 2000 or 4000. But that's so old now. I think this one probably takes the crown. Alright, so we need to get up there and build around it. Actually, you know what? I've been streaming for 3.5 hours, so that might have to be it. Does anyone want to see anything left? Maybe we'll go to the Fuse Frame Factory and show off that build just as one kind of cool thing to look at here at the end. But in terms of this place, I think you've seen everything. It's almost done. I need to do the T-junction bridges, and then I'm just going to widen this out just a little bit, like I said. Then put the walls on. It'll be pretty straightforward. Then in the next Satisfactory episode, the proper episode, which I guess will be update 8, actually. Maybe won't be doing too much. I'll be looking through all the features. But one of the things is going to be putting... yeah, you know what? Let's just fly for fun. Hey, Tinchi, thanks as well. Really do appreciate it. I'm a channel member. Tinchi88. Yeah, so... Put on the music again, I guess. Alright. So, just to show this place off really quickly. In fact, we could even... A little crazy out there and plug in my controller. Make it look real nice. While the sun's rising. There we go. Maybe a little more than that. Alright, so this is what we got so far, ladies and gentlemen. And I could slow my speed just slightly. Right, so maybe we should get some distance, I don't know, and have a bit more of a zoom in. Actually, I think medium speed was good. Sorry to be so indecisive. Fly medium. Yeah, that's better. I think I was flying fast. That's probably why. Alright, cool. So, in this stream alone, we've built 2 of the big pillars. We've built out the entire floors, and then I basically grabbed materials. And then I got my spacing right for the pillar. So I guess that's what we did. It took 3 hours to do it. I actually felt like I was pretty productive. It just required so much material. We had to make multiple runs halfway across the map to get different things. But now we've got the 6 struts in place. Their bridges are all in place except for 2. Just 2 bridges to go. What else? I guess that's kind of it. They just need to be filled now. So their pipes and everything are laid out, so we know what has to go into each one. Yeah, I thickened up that letter to be even bigger. So that's our, obviously, F strut, E, D. So we'll have to do all those letters. I'll blueprint them so I can put them down in a few different places. And then the core. I think you might, maybe you guys are right. The core probably is big enough. But, oh, that's what I was going to do. Measure out the sizes of these machines. Yep, looking good, looking good. I'm pretty happy with it so far. All right, so let's just hop on down. And just from up here, I can kind of gauge spacing. So I was thinking, this is the middle floor. This is where all the bridges come into it with all their stuff. So I thought the bottom floor here would be where like the train station's handled, maybe the pumping area, the main pumping area before pipes start to get split up. Just wondering. Anyway, well, let's just quickly see. So we needed something like 100 assemblers. Let's for scale. Yeah, I think we got enough room easily for all that, so that's good. And then there was 51 manufacturers. Now those are bigger buildings. Needed 51 of these. They don't all have to be in the same place. They're doing 2 different groups of them. I was kind of thinking like, as the bridges are coming in this way, we'd have like 4 walkways that lead in, and we'd have perfectly divided up square rooms kind of that would handle all this stuff. But there needs to be some sort of central staircase to get up and down as well. But yeah, train station, I'm just trying to work this out. Train station could be here. You come in, pull up, unload your stuff. Pumping is taking in a lot of the oil. All the oil is kind of out around here. The oil, this could be like the oil room. So probably this pipe here, this pillar that we built, will actually be the conduit for which oil travels up. Unless I decide to do it where it's external and we see it coming up along the sides or something. But I'll probably just put it in the pillar. I don't see why you wouldn't. Got loads of room for it. So this whole thing, and that way we just check. Yeah, all the water would come up this way too. So there's going to be water extractors. That kind of is going to ruin the aesthetic, I think, a little bit. But somewhere out here, we're going to have a bunch of water extractors. I was thinking of connecting these as well with walkways on the bottom. As you can see, some sort of walkway. It doesn't have to be like that, but something like that, maybe. In Metal Gear Solid, they're not really connected. There's floats. There's like floating platforms that kind of look like these, but they're more like this. So what you could do is, there we go, get rid of those. And Emma in the game, if you remember, walks across these, and you have to like guide her in a sniper mission. Now these aren't floats. They're metal and they don't move. The ones in the game would like kind of bob up and down, but there's nothing like that in the game, and it looks pretty close. There's no rails or anything on them, but it would be a way of like showing some sort of connection. Am I streaming tomorrow? No. I just do videos. My only current streams are on Monday. Just Satisfactory and just Mondays. But tomorrow I'll be doing probably a video on Update 8. Or just doing a Satisfactory video going through some of the features in Update 8. Playing around with Unreal 5, I guess. And then talking through some of the stuff that's been done for this place since it's updated. Trying to get a bit more done as well. Any chance you do a panopticon control room? Panopticon. Dangling from the ceiling, able to view the cube's entire floor. All these things are doable. It's just that everything takes so much time. I have no time for anything, and people want me to build cities at the same time. Maybe, you know. Yeah, I do have to figure out a layout for this. I haven't worked it out yet. I'll probably get a piece of paper and start working out and drawing it. I'll show you actually just something really quickly. I'll show you my notepad for this originally. Can't the water extractors go inside the big boilers that are in the front in the picture you showed? Yeah, I guess we could make those big boiler things. I thought they kind of held fuel. But how many water extractors do I need actually? Let's see. I need 32. So yeah, I guess it depends if they could fit in these things, you know? Just bear with me, I'll show you something kind of cool. Yeah. This is my notepad for how I was working things out. So originally I just had a question mark in here because I wasn't sure, but then later I added the fact that it was going to do power. So I know that 2850 2850 oil is going to come down, plastic and heavy oil into this one, and then I was kind of working out what had to go into everything. So I know that water is coming up here. If I built those boiler things, like you said, somewhere out in the water, it would ultimately have to travel along a pipe along the water and in. You could put the pipe under the water, I suppose, actually. Just slightly under the water, you wouldn't really see it. That might look kind of cool. I'll think about it. I guess I got to work on it and think about it, you know? A lot of ideas and things we could do. Yeah, the slanted windows. Yeah, you could totally do it. I like the idea, like air traffic control almost looking over the whole place. That's an interesting idea. It's just, it's the angles that have me worried about how I could do that. I could do it as a square room easily. It's to make it a diagonal room or a hexagonal or something room, which would make it complicated. All right, I think that's going to have to be it for today's episode. That's basically it. So we built out the floors, got our spacing correct with the pillars. I think I probably will leave it. It seems like we have plenty of space in there. We built out the final pillar here, and I showed how to do that. I was hoping we'd get the bridges done as well, but it's just too much materials were needed. So I had to make it run multiple times, which took up a bunch of time. Turn off that. So yep, that's going to be it. So again, thanks to the channel members, thanks to the new subscribers, thanks for just being here as well if you're just watching, especially if you were commenting or chatting. Sorry if I missed anything. The water extractors could maybe be hidden in the legs or under the legs. Maybe. That would be an interesting thing to do as well. I don't think it would look that bad having them. We could just make them look good, you know? It doesn't have, the place doesn't have to look exactly like Big Shell, but putting them out you could put them out here in the distance and then feed a pipe under the water. And I'd be kind of okay with that. You'd know that it's like this little containment area or whatever, and then the pipes would travel underneath. And then that way the immediate water underneath it, everything isn't spoiled. Gotta work out how this train's gonna fit in though. That's my biggest concern, because this would look really weird just hanging that, like some sort of floor here where things go up. Although you could do it all with scaffolding that makes it just look like it's all being held up, suspended, or held beneath. I don't know. Place was never meant to have a train. It was meant to have things flown into it. But yeah, hope people have a good rest of the week. I hope Satisfactory treats you well with its update. Update's coming out tomorrow. Experimental, you do have to opt into it, of course. Appreciate all the feedback. Even if I don't go with everyone's ideas, I do really appreciate it, so thank you. Hey, it's Zhemovich Dominansky, who I know who that is, because I know the real name. But you're not using your proper username, sir. I won't call it out so people don't know who you are, but I know who you are. Alright, that's going to have to be it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you hopefully with a Satisfactory video on Update 8, either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Have a good rest of your week. Leave some comments on this video or something if you have more suggestions, or join my Discord, discord.gg/WDP if you want it. If I didn't get to your comment, or if you have a suggestion that you think would look good, as I see some people leaving them right now, do it in there. Discord.gg/WDP. What Darren plays. WDP. It's not a secret? Okay, well, some people don't want their real name on the internet, you know. Alright, I didn't do anything bad, by the way, today. It was just a solid stream all around. Alright, that's going to have to be it for me. Thank you for watching.